To another KPC Weekend Live. It is 12:06 a.m. here in Seoul, South Korea, August 25th. Welcome, everybody. Today we're gonna go through a lot of topics as usual. We have some news about BTS running Hybe and some mild controversy over McDonald's related to BTS. Also, we're going to be covering some recent policy changes happening in South Korea regarding English kindergartens. That is very interesting. You know, the education craze and heat is pretty hot over here. Other than that, we have news about AI being implemented in South Korean society to tackle and help the suicide rates go down. That's going to be very interesting. On top of that, some talk about Samsung phones no longer being an ajashi phone, and also Demon Slayer hitting Korean theaters very hard, but there is some controversy over it as well, as usual. Another one is about Tapgol Park, which is one of the, I guess, most long-lasting, social communities for elderly people in Korea, but that is now disappearing. It's in the brink of being gone. So yeah, what's all about that? Other than that, we're just gonna chill, and talk about my life in general, and answer your questions about Korea, and just chat as the weekend live streams go on. And just before we go on, I would just like to excuse myself a little bit, because I might be a little bit more low energy than usual, because I have some personal business going on in my family. As you might have all known throughout the past live streams, my grandparents are in a very critical situation right now. And actually today in the morning, I got a call from my aunt that my grandpa is not in good state. He is actually in the nearing stage of the end of his life. So we're on standby. Our whole family is on standby. He's currently being kept stable with medication that temporarily supports his heart. So apparently his heartbeat fell down more than under 35, which is a very critical situation. And the doctor used some kind of medicine to artificially keep it over a certain rate, so that we could buy some time for the family together. And we're just trying to be there with him in his final moments. I took a visit this morning, and my father just came up from Busan. He's actually visiting him right now. And we are, we're all, preparing for the worst. But anyways, that's the situation I'm in, so I might be a little bit low energy than usual, so please understand. Hope you understand. And in the meantime, I gotta do what I gotta do, right? So what's sad is, though, of course, I've never experienced anything like this in my life yet, losing a direct family member when I have the brain capacity to actually process the notion of death and anything like that. So I don't want to decisively say that everything's over. I guess we might have some extra time left with him, hopefully. But yeah, that's the situation, and it's just so heartbreaking and hard for me. It's difficult for me to process, but I feel very fortunate that I had the time to actually go visit and sit down and actually pray with him, and also whisper into his ear about my words, and give him the affirmation and all the words he would have liked to hear from me. So yeah, I talked about myself, like all my, how I'm doing good nowadays, like what he used to expect, like me bringing a wife and all that. So I, joked about that kind of stuff too, and I gave him some reassurance about, like, you don't have to worry about me in terms of my life and all that. So yeah, I showed my gratitude, blah blah blah. So yeah, of course I told him that I love him and all that. So I mean, he's in a very serious state, so I don't think he might have 100% absorbed all of what I said. But yeah, like it was pretty surprising when he actually responded. Maybe it might be a reflex or whatever, but he actually opened his eyes and turned his head a little bit when I said that, I love him, and gave him some, words of comfort and all that. So yeah, it was experience for me, but we have yet to wait and hear the result. So the doctor says that it might be give or take, 2 days to a week. We never know. This might be a temporary situation. We pray that that's the case, but it is a fact that his health has been deteriorating very rapidly. So anyways, yeah. So my dad's visiting. He might actually crash at my house tonight. I don't know what's gonna happen. My dad's a professor at med school, so the classes are actually starting next week. So he says that he's very busy preparing for that, and in the midst of it, he had to come up. So I don't know if he'll come or not. But anyways, that was a little FYI before we get into today's news. I'm sure you guys are all sending me great words and, kind words, warm words. Thank you, everybody. Prayers. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks for being with her. Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, I might as well just do what I'm supposed to do. And I think my grandpa would like that too. He'd be proud of me being professional, and so yeah, it's going to be okay. Thank you so much. It was good that you had time to speak with him for both of you. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I held his hand and prayed a lot, and yeah, hopefully God heard all of my prayers, and when the time comes, he goes to a very nice place. And anyways, yeah, for the time being, let's not think of anything too negative, but yeah, let's go into the show. I'm sorry if I kind of, what do you call it? Toned down the atmosphere, but let's go on into the show. So how has everybody been? Yes, how's everybody been? And let me just say hi to some of y'all here in the chat. Luritas from Finland. Wow. Guadalupe. Good morning, David. Slav. Hello. Yes, and Just the T, Eva, Julia from Canada, Courtney from Canada, and Utio. Okay, happy Sunday, and H Gang. Yes, Hoodie Gang. Ryan, hello. Jessica from Dallas, Shinji, and Michelle from California. Lynn, hello. The Bard from Sweden, Francesca from the UK. Hello, everybody. Yes, my grandma's okay. She's in a critical state, but she's holding in there, and she's at home. So, yeah. Michelle, Texas. Yes. Okay. Hello, Benedicta. Losing a loved one is never easy. Sending all my best wishes. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's go on with today's news. So BTS, yes, everybody's favorite group and worldwide superstars that represent Korea in this modern age. We have news about them regarding Hybe. Yes, Hybe continues to rely heavily on BTS for profit despite diversification push. Duh, right? No shit, Sherlock. Anyways, the Korea Herald posted this. Despite Hybe's ongoing efforts to diversify its business and reduce dependence on BTS, new data shows that the K-pop powerhouse still relies heavily on its flagship group for generating profit. Is this even news? I mean, we all knew this, but this is just reaffirmation. It's confirmation that BTS is equals Hybe, basically. So earlier in August, the company announced a record quarterly revenue of 705.6 billion won, which is the equivalent of $504.4 million, with 63% coming directly from artist-driven activities such as concerts and albums. Okay, very interesting stats. While overall album sales fell 8.4% year-on-year, concert revenue offset the decline. Concerts alone accounted for 26.7% of the total revenue, jumping 31% year-on-year to 188.7 billion won, leading overall growth. So we know that concerts are strong, and y'all are going to all of these world tour concerts in your own venues. I don't blame you. Yeah, nearly 40% of Hybe's concert revenue in the second quarter came from the one and only BTS member J-Hope's Hope on the Stage World Tour, according to Kim Hyun-young, an analyst at Hyundai Motor Securities, speaking in a local news show today. If accurate, it would mean that J-Hope generated about 75.5 billion won, roughly 10% of Hybe's total quarterly earnings. J-Hope over here, Hope on the Stage. The world tour was massively successful, and of course, we had Jin as the supporter, and I think his concert revenues were in the first quarter or such. Yeah, it was a little earlier than J-Hope, but yeah, J-Hope's concert alone was roughly 10% of Hybe's total quarterly earnings. That is crazy. So if you just think about it in a simple manner, J-Hope alone created 10% of Hybe's total revenue, and we're not even talking about merch and Weverse and all the other different things. That is huge too. But just in concert terms, J-Hope generated 10% of the whole entire revenue of Hybe. So if we think simply, if every single member were to do their own solo concert, that would be times 7. So 70% of Hybe's revenue, it could safely be said, that would be generated just by the BTS members touring all by themselves. So imagine the BTS members as a full group doing a world tour. And right now we got to understand that this was during BTS's military hiatus. Now they're fully active. They are coiling on for their full comeback and a new album maybe, and a new world tour in 2026. So it's really looking good. It's a really good looking time to invest into Hybe. Hybe is actually in a discount. I would say the Korean K-pop sector for stocks in general, YG, SM, JYP, they're all at their all-time highs, because there's some new, like their year-on-year earnings were amazing as well too. K-pop in general is at an all-time high, along with K-pop Demon Hunters and their strong group performances as well. But imagine BTS just stepping into this picture. Like, that would accelerate and make everything explode. The only reason Hybe is down a little bit compared to other companies right now is because of the recent Bang Si-hyuk risk and the investigations and like the noise, the mini jean, new jeans thing, all the controversy kind of made a discount in Hybe. But right now, I would say if you're allowed to invest, I'm allowed to invest. I'm really keen on going into Hybe right now. So yeah, that is crazy. J-Hope generating about 75.5 billion won. That is outstanding. One person. Crazy work. I know, right? It's best for Hybe to diversify before the bubble pops. Any investors know this. And I think, quite honestly, Hybe is doing a great job in diversifying. They already have some strong IPs. They have the multi-label platform going on. They have multiple labels, and even if I don't want to say this, but there is going to be a day, like in 10 years, 20 years, when BTS gets relatively less active than now, then their revenue is definitely gonna go down a little bit, but I think they're preparing for those times, and they're diversifying in other IPs, other groups, multi-labels, Hybe America, Hybe Latin America, Hybe India recently. There are rumors that there's a HQ being set up in Beijing as well too. So we'll have to see that. But we got strong groups like, there's all TXT also signed again under Hybe. They renewed their contract most recently. So we have TXT, we have Hypen, we have Boy Next Door, we have the new group Cortez. And for girl groups, we have Islet, we have, what else? What else groups there? Le Seraphim, countless groups. We have 17 under Pledis. We have, like all those groups can do like solo tours as well too. We have New Jeans if they return to Adore, which I just covered on DK News today. I met Danny today and did the New Jeans piece. There have been some updates. So bottom line, the New Jeans thing is going to be concluded in October, and we're gonna have a solid picture of what's gonna go on from now on, so on and so forth. About Adore and New Jeans, whether they're going to come back, whether they're going to, I don't know. But anyways, check out that piece on DK News. Today's about Hybe and BTS. But yeah, it's just mind-blowing to think that BTS is still, it's not mind-blowing, honestly. It's obvious. It's just the obvious thing. Oh yeah, they got Cat's Eye. Yeah, we can't leave out Cat's Eye. I heard from Danny that Cat's Eye was explosive in Lollapalooza. And they got like very, very international hype right now. So yeah, Cat's Eye is a successful IP. So yeah, Hybe is doing good. I think, there might be a bubble, but still, like, they're on track in like actually realizing that vision of being a multi-label. And it's a first attempt in Korea, quite honestly. And I think that's all thanks to BTS and the capital they raised, and it's not only about the money. Of course, they raked in super big amounts of money, and in this capitalistic market, if a company is talking about M&As and acquirement and all that, of course, money speaks volumes. But still, if I were let's assume like I have like a middle-sized, mid-cap K-pop label. Like, let's say I don't know, right now a good size might be maybe Starship. Like, I have IVE under me, like I'm making good money, but then Hybe comes in and says like, I want to acquire you, come under our umbrella. You might do a lot of calculations and all that. Like, money is always good, but like, I'm doing good on my own right now. But the fact that you're under Hybe, which has BTS, which is such a trusted, incredible, and crazy reputation, the biggest K-pop group ever, and that's like the backbone of this company. The feeling of being secure and being within that family would be really big. And I feel like, oh yeah, we could even maybe do like a Hybe family concert. We could do collabs within, and that's what's happening. Like, if you see Le Seraphim or like other groups like J-Hope's on their reels and all that, that is like another intangible factor to consider when you're going under these multi-label platforms. But anyways, BTS is king. That's pretty obvious, and this news with the statistics just prove that solely, single-handedly, only with J-Hope. So there's not anything that we need to prove with the BTS complete group, as well. So anyways, just wanted to bring you those interesting stats. Very, very proud of BTS, and Hybe is on a good track. So I think Hybe is a pretty good place to invest, put my money on, right? Yeah. Okay, so anyways, in regards to BTS, a few weeks ago, I think it was like 2 weeks ago when I was doing one of these lives, we saw the news about BTSV being the new ambassador and the model for Coca-Cola Zero, right? And yeah, not gonna lie, he was amazing. And I saw him at Seongsu Station the day before, and I was there. If you go to Seongsu Station right now, Seongsu Station, by the way, is like the most hip and trendiest area right now in Korea. Like all the fashionistas, all the young people. It's like the Brooklyn of Korea. It's poppin'. There's a lot of pop-up stores. If you go there, you'll see all the trendy brands from luxury stores. You'll see massive flyers and banners of Jennie here and there. The Adidas Superstar. If you check my Instagram account, I posted some stories about it. But like the moment you step foot at Seongsu Station, there's this massive billboard, and it's right in front of the escalator. You have to pass this escalator in order to go outside, and there's like a huge picture of V there with the Coca-Cola, and I was like, whoo, damn, okay, everybody's getting steamed right before they set foot to Seongsu. So yeah, and like in bus stations and like everywhere, you can see V all over plastered. So that's that. But then we were talking about some controversy and some noise around surrounding that particular ad, because some people were, you know, a little bit against V being an active model for the Coca-Cola brand, because like Coca-Cola is being boycotted by a lot of people because of its relevance to supporting Gaza indirectly, the funds flowing in there and whatnot. But there is a similar thing that's happening right now. So some people were claiming in the comments back then that, you know, they were going to cancel, or BTS is uncancelable, but they were going to boycott or at least not support V as an individual member. But now the sparks have ignited and kind of, you know, spread to the whole group. So what's happening right now is that McDonald's has done a collab with BTS, and BTS reunite with the new Happy Meal launched next month in September 3rd. And McDonald's is once again teaming up with global pop sensation BTS to roll out a new collaboration in September. According to McDonald's Korea on Wednesday, the BTS Happy Meal will debut on September 3rd in 66 countries, including South Korea, the United States, Germany, Brazil, and Australia. So we've seen this happen before, you know, when BTS did like the collab with McDonald's. There was a worldwide sensation. A lot of people went to McDonald's solely to get the BTS set. I actually got the BTS set too, and now they're coming back with the Happy Meal in 66 countries. This is not just Korea, it's a global thing, and McDonald's is gonna have that make that good bank. But the Happy Meal is McDonald's children menu set, which includes a hamburger, fries, drink, and a toy. Yeah. For this collaboration, the toy will be a miniature figurine from the BTS's Tiny Tan character line, modeled after the group's members. Yeah. I remember that time when BTS did a collab with Mattel, the BTS doll, that didn't really look good. But these ones are actually pretty cute. If they actually look like these, I doubt the quality is going to be that good, because it's McDonald's at the end of the day, and I didn't ever have like high expectations for their Happy Meal toys. But if it looks like that, you know, it's gonna look good, right? But anyways, so like, bottom line, BTS is collabing with McDonald's again, and back then I guess it flied, but right now the climate has changed a lot, and some people might be like, you know, it's a small amount of people, like, let's not give attention to them. Like, yeah, I would like to do that too, but like, actually, even if you look at this article on the Korea Herald, it's not just my comment sections or KPC. If you look at this article, even I scrolled down a little bit, and of course there's like support and all that. But there's like, oh yikes, this is disappointing for me as an army. If BTS continues with those brands that I'm boycotting, I suppose I will have to boycott them too. So sad that BTS joined up with McCawful. Guess have to boycott BTS too. Promoting junk food to children, free Palestine, and this flag. And yeah, how deeply disappointed. I will continue to boycott McD's regardless. I'm boycotting BTS too now. I'm so disappointed. By the way, please boycott BTS. So, while kids in Gaza starve thanks to McDonald's, BTS dislike button. Shame on them. McDonald's is trying to recover its losses by using BTS Tiny 10. They shouldn't have made it a Happy Meal. Okay. I didn't want to say it, but I think BTS's downfall is about to start. This is so disappointing. Aren't they aware of the fact what's happening in the world? Shake my head. Army, please boycott McDonald's. Free Palestine. Our boys may not be able to speak about this, but they would be proud of us for doing what is right. This is insane. I'm sorry, a big no for this. So the comments go on and on. The Hybe, stop using your artists for money. All that, and boycott hashtags, make BTS woke again, for everyone who will eat and support the killing of Gaza children, may God bless you. Yeah, so you get the atmosphere over here, right? So I haven't got to our chat yet, but let's see what you guys are thinking and talking about. So yeah, like, these people might be haters in disguise, but or they might have not been BTS fans in the first place, and they're just very outspoken about the issue. It could work that way, but yeah, there seems to be this kind of buzz, and it's this post got like 3.7k likes, and I'm sure there are a lot of posts on Twitter as well too. So yeah, let's see. Eva says, "Yup, no boycott from armies." Janie says, please boycott so I can get tickets to the reunion concert. BTS are grown-ass adults and they sign off all their things. Leave them alone. Coke is a really old brand, not going anywhere. So is McDonald's, right? I think. Just a little percentage of the people are boycotting McDonald's and Coke. You are aware that there are McDonald's and Coke in Muslim countries. Yeah, that's actually a known fact too. As far as I can see, my army friends are all excited to get the Happy Meal. I'm honestly very excited too. So yesterday, actually, I seldom check my DMs, but I posted something on my story of something along the lines of like, I had McDonald's the other day, and I posted it, and they're doing a collab with Kakao Friends right now, and they have like this very cute Kakao collab, and I posted like, why is everything cute in Korea with the McDonald's Kakao bag? And it actually got more responses or like engagement than usual. Like more than 3,000 people saw that story, and I was like, what's going on? What's so interesting about this post? Maybe it was just the timing. And then I was just curious, like, what's the factor of this? And I went into the DMs, and the first DM I saw was something like, I'm so disappointed in you. Why are you, something like that. Yeah, why are you having McDonald's when it's on boycott? McDonald's provided free food to like committing genocide and so much more. Yeah, stuff like that. So, I mean, I think this person is a fan of me, like, because she was following, and she actually sent some supportive notes beforehand, if you see the DMs. But, yeah, like, I was like, oops, So it's really difficult, but, as much as I would like to support the cause, I am conscious about it, and I would like to do whatever I can, in spirit and in person, to do my share. Yeah, but it's just really hard to like avoid every single thing in life, right? If it's just so widespread, like if you're out with your friends and like a McDonald's is in front of you and you automatically go there because it's the closest thing, it's the most convenient place to eat at, it's just very hard. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? And for BTS too, like they're doing brand deals, and of course, as the members said, like they actually approve and they look into the ads they endorse. Yeah, like I don't know if there's internal talk about this, but McDonald's and Coca-Cola is a huge brand, and they're everywhere around the world, and it's just very tricky, I would say. And of course, there's gonna be some comments again in this video as well too, but Yeah, I'll just leave it here. Most people will probably throw away the Happy Meals. They just want the toys. That's true too. But like, you could donate it to like homeless people, or you could. Happy Meal isn't that much, right? Funny thing is, boycotters will still go to the BTS concert. Well, where's the boycott if you're still supporting? I support peace. I support peace too. Yeah, everyone does. Yeah. David, your choice. I'm actively boycotting myself, as they might not have control, but I would condemn them. I love the second set of Tiny Tans in the Happy Meal, the mic drop collection. Ooh, that must have been dope. The mic drop ones, yeah. I support the cause in a different way. I have contacted my local elected officials to voice my opinion on the war. Yeah, that's a great way too. I don't care if others choose not to boycott. I believe in people having choice in everything. Luciana says, I love BTS, but they need to step out of their bubble a little bit. A modern genocide is happening, and people need to acknowledge that. Yeah, that's valid. That's valid. And I do think they acknowledge that. But yeah, when it comes to like contracts, endorsements, company dynamics, and global brands, and commercials, advertisements, and all that, yeah, it might be pretty tricky and sophisticated if you're in their position. Yeah, so anyways, like I see that a lot of you have different opinions in the comments, in the chat. So yeah, yep. So anyways, if you have more to say, you can put it in the comment section, and I think you guys can have a debate over there. But this was pretty interesting because I was just excited to see this news, like, oh, there's gonna be a new Happy Meal with McDonald's, and then I got reminded, oh yeah, there might be some backlash over this, and I scrolled down the comments, and indeed there was. So yep. Yeah. Okay. BTS and UN spoke about speak ourselves against violence. So these, because for fans, are really weird. Okay. Anyways, I'm just very excited for BTS's comeback, and it's just very good to see their posts on Instagram. I think it was J-Hope the other day. He did a huge photo dump about like the behind the scenes of their life in LA. We saw some precious moments of like V and Jimin in the beach, and them like, recording, and we saw some pics of Namjoon and all that. So yeah, like everybody's just very excited about that. But in the meantime, there has been some buzz and noise. Anyways, I'm just hoping that their comeback is going to be strong. And yeah. Please let's not drag BTS into politics, says Shaya. Yeah, the amount of people in chat tripping over themselves to defend corporations is LOL. Okay, before we get too heated in the chat, you can leave it in the comment sections after the stream. Let's go into another heated debate that's happening in Korea at the moment. So basically, there are talks of banning English kindergarten. There's an actual law to be enacted soon, and yeah, it's pretty much a big debate right now amongst a lot of parents and the people of Korea. So there's a KBS piece that shows the reality of it in Korean, but there's auto-generated subtitles, so let me go through them and show you what's happening. So it's this video over here, and you can see the title, English Kindergarten Ban Law is to be enacted. The state must intervene. So let's see what's happening. Hope this doesn't get copy striked. Yeah. So this is an academy that prepares children for the so-called 4-year-old exam, which is an English kindergarten entrance exam. A large banner is hung to announce the passing status of these 4-year-olds to go into these academies. like these English kindergartens. And Daechidong Academy District of Seoul, yeah, that place is crazy. If you're coming as an English teacher, avoid Daechidong at all costs, because that is the most competitive place ever, and you will be scolded and verbally assaulted by a lot of parents there. Yeah, and this is a place where there are academies that prepare children's. So we got to differentiate. There are English kindergartens and there are academies that prepare their children for the English kindergarten. So in order for your 4-year-old child to enter an English kindergarten, they need to take a test. And this test is apparently super competitive because there's limited spots, and these English kindergartens only pick a selected amount and the best of the best. So this is getting pretty wild over here. And if you see, this reporter went to one of these places, and these kids were born in 2022. They're imagine, I'm born in 1992. Like, it's been, people are being born in 2022. That's crazy. So there's phonics, there's conversation, there's writing, speech, and right now there are no positions for writing classes. So that means these academies are full. There were 820 English kindergartens across the country as of May. That's crazy. And the average daily teaching time was 5 hours. For a 4-year-old, a 4-year-old is studying to get into an English kindergarten 5 hours per session. This excessive pre-studying and test preparation stress are known to have a negative impact on learning, brain development, and emotional formation. The priority is that English is not included in the development work. It is known that we need to develop public order and social development. But in the midst of this, the so-called English kindergarten ban law, which limits the teaching of hours of private academies subject to the ban, will be implemented this week. This bill includes a provision that completely prohibits teaching English and other subjects to children under 36 months. I think this is needed. To be honest, if you're under 3 years old, sending your kid to a prep school for English kindergarten is crazy. That is, I don't know anything about parenting, but I will not support this. Yeah. And for children over 36 months, instruction time is limited to 40 minutes per day. So I think that's reasonable too. Okay, it's your choice to send your kid to a prep school or whatever, but making them study 5 hours a day at the age of 3 to 4, that is crazy. And this person is the lawmaker that actually is trying to enact this new law. There's a lot of backlash against her. She's not from a favored party. She's from a minor party and pretty liberal and leftist party. So the conservatives are usually the ones with the money that live in Gangnam and Daechidong and send their kids to these prep schools and English kindergartens. So of course, like, the perfect battle is going on. And this person says, I thought it had gotten to a point where the government had to intervene. But also the UN Committee on the Rights of Children looked into our country's private education, and they found it to be excessive. Yeah, we don't have to actually counsel with the UN Committee to know that, right? It's been a known fact I've embodied that. I've experienced that firsthand. And this is concerning, yeah. Violating this law will result in administrative sanctions such as a 1-year suspension from teaching or cancellation of your academy registration. And if there's an actual crackdown, it is expected that there will be backlash from parents. This is KBS News. Yes. So this is ridiculous, right? Lynn says, this is ridiculous for 4-year-olds. When do they get to be children? Exactly. And for me, even, as a person that's gone through elementary, middle school, high school, through all those academies, I personally think objectively that my childhood was miserable. I never touched grass, like, not in an idiomatic way. I literally never touched grass. I was stuck in hagwons every single day. Even from elementary school, I went to I went to arts, like drawing and painting. I went to taekwondo. I guess those are good for your creativity, and it's like a social experience with like other people. So in elementary school, I took it a little easy, but then I would have like teachers coming to my house giving me like these little leaflets of math questions, and teaching me math and English and like social studies and science and all that. So I had all of that. I went to English academies and did like writing, listening, speaking, all that. And it got even more severe and severe once I went to middle school and high school. And by the time I was at high school, my schedule looked like I wake up at like 7 a.m., go to school by 8 or something, and we start our whole day. And then after that, it ends at like 5 p.m. or something. And then we have dinner. And then from 6 to 10 p.m. we're obligated to stay at school and do like self-cramming time, like self-studying time. And you're not allowed to go outside. And after 10 p.m. we would go to academies. I would go like on Monday it would be math, on Tuesday it would be science, on Wednesday it would be English, Thursday it would be Korean, Friday it would be like Japanese or whatever. And even during the weekends, I would have to go to some sort of academy. And I don't blame my mom, quite honestly, because this is the norm. Everyone does this. And that's why a lot of people say it takes millions of dollars. Not millions, but like in Korean, it's like countable, but 10Ks or like above that, like in the Ks. Amount of money to raise a child in Korea because of these academies. The tutoring prices are extremely high. Like if you go to academy 1 month for one subject like math would be, I guess, like $400 to $500. Add that up for all of these different subjects, that would add up to like $1,000 to $2,000 a month every single month. Then like, you do the math for a year, that would be like in 10K to 20K ranges, right? And for the entirety of like elementary school, middle school, high school, that's like give or take 10 to 15 years. You're spending that much. And now kindergarten, English kindergarten is extremely expensive. Let me type up 영어 유치원 가격 비용. Okay. So it says over here in Google that English kindergarten prices vary greatly by region in Korea, from 1 million won to 2 million won per month. So that means $1,000 to $2,000 per month. And this is the basic monthly tuition fee. So according to that, there's like also unit costs like shuttle bus fees, textbook and materials fees, uniforms and gym uniforms, after school, all this kind of stuff. So if you add that up, you understand why nobody wants to have a kid, because they can't afford it. They can't simply afford it. So yeah, like going back to this law thingy, like, like I told you, there's a massive debate that's going on about this law. Like so far you'd be, like why is there any opposition against this? This seems totally sane. I guess in Western standards, but in Korean standards, people are very, very mad about this law being enacted. Like if you look at the comments over here, let me see. They will close down English kindergartens and eventually send their children to study abroad anyways. Lol. They just say one thing and do another. Yeah, that's a way to see it. That's pretty true. A lot of people just sacrifice all their savings and money to send their kids to America or Malaysia or Singapore or Philippines or any English-speaking country to get that English done. And a lot of people are like, start by fixing public education. They're blocking English, yet their middle school textbooks are at the level of third and fourth graders in American elementary schools. High school classes don't even use textbooks, relying heavily on supplementary materials. Yet the CSAT reading level is comparable to that of a first-year American college student. So this person is pointing out that there's a disparity between the examination expectations and levels with the levels of what public education is providing. That's why we need private education. That's half right, that's half true in my opinion. Yeah. Some people are like, why is the government interfering with this? They should start by banning the children of the members of the National Assembly from studying abroad. Okay, obviously people are very salty about like the lawmakers sending all their children abroad. We need to create an environment where children don't have to send their children to English kindergartens. If we simply ban them, won't another expedient emerge? The brain is truly one-dimensional. That's also kind of true too, because back then in COVID, when people, I think it was it related to COVID? No, it was some other issue. So there was a time when there was like a ban on academies, private academies, in terms of like, I think it was COVID or some other situation. So there was a ban. People weren't allowed to go to private academies, but they found loopholes and they started doing classes at some person's house privately, so the government couldn't inspect. Or there were actually times when they would just fold the blinds and turn off the lights when the inspector came and lock the door so the government people couldn't come in, and the kids inside were just like hiding and just like in silence. So there were actual times like that. Just pretty recently, I saw this on the news and also on dramas as well. And and people are like, exactly 3 years ago, China banned English kindergartens. Stuff like that. So anyways, what people are triggered about is that this goes against the freedom of education, like the freedom of what you can do, what kind of education you want to provide to your kid. The law or the government should not have any say in that. That's what these people are very angry about. And also another spectrum of people are like, this is hypocritical because the rich are going to send their kids anyways abroad to learn English, whereas the commoners or the normal people, the average Korean person, won't even have access to early English education. That's going to create another gap between the wealthy and the average person in Korea, which is going to just create more disparity. So yeah, that actually kind of makes sense too. So there's a lot of logical backings for these oppositions. I personally stand by. I support this new law because I've always constantly said that I'm not going to raise my kid in Korea, and a big reason is this, because I know that if my kid grows up in Korea, he or she will have to inevitably go to academies, and I will get peer pressured, I will get pressured by society, and the kid is actually going to get isolated from a group of friends, because if everyone goes to an academy, where is he going to socialize? Where is he going to interact with his friends? Like, the academies ironically have become a social playground at the same time. Like in the middle times where you have like rest time, like 10-minute breaks, or like when you're hopping from academy to academy, the kids go to convenience stores and have cup ramen together. So like school is just not enough, and they form like intimate relationships and bonds with friends at academies, quite ironically. So because of all these reasons, and also if you don't go to academies, you can't follow the other kids' academic level. So my kid is going to fall out on class, and I wouldn't like that, So it's just very hard. Like, people always say like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna do like private tutor, I'm not gonna send them, like I'm gonna raise them differently. But if you come to Korea, it becomes very different. Like, yeah, if the whole nation is like that, you're bound to follow, So yeah, like and also, like, this is unrelated, but also I do think this should be taken into account. So we're living in the era of AI, right? Like, okay, this is going on a little bit of a tangent, but I just got this thought out of the random while I was seeing this news. So the sector that AI is crippling immediately right now is the translation and interpretation and the language sectors, right? So So far, I've seen so many of my friends that were interpreters, that were translators, that worked in the language sector, that were subtitlers or whatever, having their job stripped. Like, companies are replacing them with AI because the AI translations are just like, now they've caught up to actual, they sometimes are even better performing than real human beings. Of course, the nuances need to be changed a little bit, but like, it's now at the level of 90% of, a professional interpreter. And what's happening right now in Gangnam, from what I've heard, is that the elite class moms are focusing more on like coding or engineering or some kind of skill assets that are adaptable in the upcoming AI society, rather than investing in languages like English or a foreign language like Spanish. Because in the future, we'll probably have Google glasses or Meta glasses or whatever, or Scouters, or my Galaxy phone. If you just fold it like that and put on like AI translation mode, if I say something, it immediately translates it into the other language, and we can talk almost simultaneously with the help of technology. So like, probably we'll have like like a eardrum kind of vibration, one of those like technologies that you can hear without putting your earplug, and then the glasses, and then a person's gonna say something, the glass is gonna connect to Wi-Fi or whatever, the data, and then translate it, and like simultaneous translation is gonna come. So I feel like in this time and era, actually reallocating the money and investments and time in studying English to another thing would be better. But I'm not advocating sending kids at the age of 4 years old or 7 years old at all. But if it's going to be that trend anyways, then like, we might as well get rid of English kindergarten in the meantime. That's just what I'm saying. You get it, right? So yeah, I feel like I don't think we need English kindergartens. It also had like a social economical factor as well too, because like the lower class or the medium class really had to struggle. Like, they had to go out of their comfort zone and pay more out of their pocket just to get their kids into English kindergarten. As you can see, they have exams for it. So yeah. Anyways, I think this is for the good. A lot of Koreans might be very triggered, in my own opinion, and they would say that I'm hypocritical too, because I had the privilege of going abroad when I was very young. Yes, so I have less say in this, but this is just my personal opinion. Don't come attacking towards me, but that's what I just think. And yeah, I mean, despite myself studying abroad, just living abroad when I was very young, I had to come back and I had to refine and continuously work hard on my English to maintain it, to update, improve my vocabulary, my pronunciation, my listening and writing skills, and all that. So yeah, I've improved over the years, and I've benefited a lot out of it. So it's not like a distant thing for me. Like, I think I think I went to more than 3 English academies at one point. Yeah, so I know a lot about this system, even though I am a beneficiary of early age studying abroad. Yeah, and it wasn't like my parents, spent a huge fortune to send me abroad and like make me go to like a private school or anything. I went to an international school in Baltimore, and my dad was just happened to be there because he had to do his medical studies. Some would say that itself is a privilege, which it is. But anyways, I understand the system. I understand the stress of the kids. And despite that, I think like abolishing English kindergarten is good for the future. Yeah. But then there are concerns that this is going to be replaced anyways in another form of tutoring, or yeah. So will this be eradicated? I don't know. Like, there should be a social reformation in the mindset of Korean parents and society and as a whole. Yeah, so I understand the frustration. Yup. Okay, let's read some comments. What are hagwons? They are private academies. Outside of public schools, parents send these their kids to these hagwons, and they pay a lot of money, and the kids study there up till midnight. Yeah. AI language defined as their default language, like who newly studying about English and wanted about that. Yeah. If the AI trends continue, very soon we won't even need to send kids to kindergarten. Most of the skills will be handled by AI anyways. Yeah, exactly. That's true. Let's see. In the countryside, are hagwons used there too, or are they more laid back? They're more laid back, but they do exist. There are hagwons everywhere. If you have a school, if you have kids, there will be a hagwon. Definitely. I was in Busan. Busan's the second biggest city, but there are hagwons there. There are hagwons in Daejeon. There are hagwons in Gangneung or wherever in Korea. Yeah. Not really. It's still missing understanding the cultural nuances. I agree, as I am in a position of that as a freelancer, so I'm irreplaceable up till now. But people are saying, give it 2 or 3 years or 5 years. Yep. Once that data's collected. Yeah, so I'm able to keep my job because I'm the person who revises and deals with the cultural nuances and does the localization. But everyone under me has now lost their job. And AI's is up my ass now. So I'm kind of shuddering in fear too. Like, in 5 years, will I be replaceable too? Yeah, it's just developing in such a fast speed. I did not go to English kindergarten. I was just straight in North America. Yep. I'm not from a rich family. My family would be, in definition by the social pyramid and statistics by Korean standards, median family. Yeah, mid class. Yeah. But I do understand the hype behind the English education craze, because English is the global language, and in my experience, if you have that English proficiency, it just opens so many gates in Korean society. There are it doubles your opportunities and what kind of jobs you can get, what kind of opportunities you can get. And logically, you're dealing with a bigger market, a bigger pool of people, a bigger audience. So honestly, if you're a business guy, if you know English, it's a huge benefit to you as well too. So yeah, it's inevitable for people to, just go heavy on English. Yeah. You said your grandma owns a place in Hanam? Nope. I don't know which grandma you're talking about. Yeah. Just teach your own kids. It's much cheaper and much fun and comfortable and much less stressful. That does not happen in Korea. Yep. If you teach your own kids, it's, unless you're a very competent teacher and you're very smart, you're smarter than the academy teachers that have graduated Seoul, Korea University, Yonsei University, and they have master degrees on mathematics and sciences, and they're using their brilliant heads to tweak that knowledge into how to efficiently teach kids. Yeah, you'll be surprised if you see the profiles of all these academy teachers. Some have doctorate degrees. I'm not kidding. Some used to be professors. Some used to be rocket scientists. And you'd be wondering why the hell would these people be private academy teachers? Because they make hella money. They make shit tons of money. I want to curse here. They make fuck tons of money. Academy teachers in Korea, if you're one of the best known teachers in Gangnam or Daechi, or if you're one of those virtual lesson teachers, Oh my gosh, the amount of money they make. We call them 일타 강사. That's like first tier teachers, and you gotta line up and you gotta pick the lottery to get into these teachers' classes because they teach in such a efficient way, and also they have all these like strings to like the higher ups in like the officials and the Ministry of Education, and they have all these big databases, and they have all these like assistants that help like the tutoring and the kids, and they have all these systematic things ready. The materials are there, and they make, I would say, so a teacher I listened to, there was an article of how much money he earned in a year, and it was something like, so a million is 백만, 천만, 억, no, 백만, 천만, 억, 10억. A million is 10억. So they would earn like $5 to $6 million a year, and they would have signing bonuses from academies to academies. It's like the sports field. It's like football. Like if this academy tries to poach this teacher, and they have a signing bonus of like $2 million, and this person goes to this academy, all the students, the fandom follows. So it's wild out here. And I heard that one of the teachers accumulated more than like $20 million or something like that just out of teaching. So that is crazy over here. The academy market, the education market in Korea is crazy. And I know this because actually my aunt that I talked to today because of my grandpa, she used to be a star teacher at the Pagoda Academy. It's a very big franchise. You'll see it in Gangnam, Jongno, all the big places. And she was a Japanese teacher. So Japanese is like a minor subject. Like it's not in the public education curriculum. So yeah, like she didn't earn that much, but still, to this day, she's unemployed ever since like 36. She's accumulated enough money to retire herself at the age of 36 or something, because she was a star teacher in the Pagoda Academy as a Japanese teacher. So imagine the amount of money these teachers would earn being a math teacher or a history or science teacher. Yeah, it's millions of dollars. You're not believing me. No way, you're not believing me. Okay, I'm gonna pull some receipts for you guys. Let me Google it real quick. So let's see. Okay, here we have articles, legit articles, and this is Google AI that just said it. Star instructors, although the exact salary rankings are not disclosed, some star instructors are known to earn hundreds of millions of won, and some even over 100 billion won annually. This is crazy. Hyunwoo-jin, mathematics, he is a star lecturer with an annual salary estimated to range from hundreds of millions of won to over 100 billion won, and has great influence to enough to affect the company's stock price and financial statements. Lee Ji-young, oh, I know her. She's a pretty, I think she's a pretty, yeah. So she actually disclosed how much salary she earns. She earns 10 billion won annually. So how much is 10 billion won in English? In dollars, that's $10 million. Like I would say, like currency wise, like 6 to 7 million dollars per year. Per year. I'm not kidding you. She disclosed this on YouTube. She renewed her contract with Etus. This is crazy. And she's only among a few. You know, like this guy. Oh, he's a drama character, but he was modeled upon like a real life person. And Hyunwoo-jin, this guy who's called the math Ilta, who's like a math superstar, has an estimated annual salary of 30 billion won. That's crazy. That's 30 million US dollars. So you understand why people are going crazy over this? If you watch this drama, Irta Scandal, it's a K-drama, and it depicts the private academy scene here in Korea, and you'll see the craze of parents trying to line up and get the lottery and be selected for their kids to listen to this. Yeah, it's crazy. Yep. Sky Castle realistically reflects the situation. Yep. Yeah. Let's see. 20 million, that's an NFL player. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I told you, it's like the sports industry. I am not kidding you. I have not mistranslated the dollars, the zeros. Yeah. It's on I think it's on Netflix. I think it is. Follow the money every time. Yeah, this is crazy, guys. So if you see more articles over here, no shit, like this article says, these private academy instructors' salaries are over 150 times of those than normal office workers. 150 times. Can you believe that? Most instructors earn over 10 billion won. That is crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, that's... Like, look at this article. Hyunwoo-jin, a math instructor at Mega Study, made headlines last year when he purchased the penthouse in Cheongdam, paying 25 billion won in cash. Oh my gosh. According to industry sources, Hyun's annual salary is reportedly over 20 billion won. This is mind-blowing. This is crazy. David, you should be a teacher? Maybe. Yeah. So to set the record straight, I did the exact equation, the currency. So his salary in US dollars is 14.81 million US dollars because of the currency rate. Yeah. And the average rate of star instructors, they get 7.41 million US dollars for salary annually. And I told you they get a signing bonus too. So that's crazy. How much does a public teacher earn? Roughly $2,000. I think even less if you take out like the pension and insurance for my friends are public school teachers. They earn like $1,900 a month or something like that. So it's inevitable for them to marry early with another fellow teacher, and they combine their income, and it makes like $3,000 to $4,000 a month. And yep, it's nice seeing teachers being paid a decent wage. The public teachers aren't paid like that. It's for the academy private sector teachers. Yep. David smiles when he talks about money. Yeah, I get thrilled. $1 billion, the NTS should be happy. Yeah, I would be happy. Like, if I earned $14 million a year, I'd happily pay 40% of that. I still have like $8 million remaining. I'm just living in my dream. Yeah. Bro, that's messed up. If Singaporean teachers find out about this, they're gonna boycott the country. Like, I'm telling you, like, public teachers here get paid $2,000 a month, 20K, like 25K a year. Yep. Do teachers have a good pension in Korea? They have a stable pension, but they don't get much. Yeah. I'm a teacher in Texas, and I'm sad that Korean teachers make so much less. They live in poverty. Yeah, the thing is, like, I'm talking in entry level. So my friends, they're all in their early, like, mid-20s to 30s, right? So I've heard their salaries when they just became a teacher. So I heard that over year after year, there's, like, some kind of, like, let's say a badge that goes on top of your career or reputation, and if that piles up, it's just like being a police officer. Like, your income increases year after year. So once you become like in your 20th or 30th year as being a teacher, I heard your cap could go up to maybe like $4,000 even. But that's still way less compared to a worker in just an average company like Samsung. Samsung's not an average company, but a big company like Samsung, or a mid-sized company. Like, teachers are underpaid, very, very underpaid. That's why in the old days, teachers could only maintain their lives with briberies, and a lot of parents till this day try to bribe their teachers for extra credits and good report cards, and because that all weighs in if you're looking for entry exams in colleges and stuff. So 2Ks per month. Yeah, 2K per month. Okay, that's a weird question out of the blue. I asked this before, but you never answered this question. Do you think Koreans believe they are better than other Asians? I will not deny there is a lot of Korean supremacy out there in Korea. Yep, there is definitely. I won't deny that fact. I don't think it's like over the top or just in your face. I think people secretly, subtly think like that. Some people. Of course, a lot of Korean people are very humble, and they think people are equal people. They're very kind and all that. But sadly enough, I think a lot of people tie the mentality of like the Korean supremacy to economic factors, such as I see so many ugly articles of like ugly Koreans overseas, and especially like less developed countries or countries that have a smaller income or GDP or infrastructure than Korea. And if Korean people travel to these countries, a lot of them treat the locals in a bad way, or if those people from those countries come to Korea, they get discriminated or mistreated. So yeah, I won't deny that fact, but I would say it's a fraction of people. It's an underlying thought that people will not admit, but it is somewhere there. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, the teacher salary is way too low to live on, right? Yeah. Midnight romance in Hagwon seem realistic and insightful. Yeah, people date a lot. Kids date a lot in Hagwons. They go on little mini dates to the convenience stores and buy each other chocolate or lollipops. Yeah. So okay. We've lingered on to this topic too long. And no wonder there are things like this happening in Korea. Have you heard of a scream zone? If you walk to Daechidong, the country's most famous cram school district, the area is packed with so many private academies or hagwons that most refer to as the Daechidong Hagwon Street. And if you go to this place, there is a stress-free zone created by Gangnam District just for the teenagers. So if you go into these booths, they have comfy chairs, snacks, and workout spaces, and there's even a soundproofed scream zone, so students can scream as loud as they want without being heard outside. It's a glimpse into how stressful the race can be to get into a top college here. Yeah, the fact that you need these kind of things, the screaming zone, it's pretty sad. But I totally understand the necessity of it, because you just need somewhere to de-stress, decompress, let out everything, or just cry, or be alone, Yeah. Yep. So that's that. Oh no, the topics are becoming more depressing. So now, speaking of AI and education and students and Dark sides of Korea. Everybody knows that Korea has the highest suicide rate among the OECD countries. It's a very sad fact, but it's true. The Korean government is now implementing AI to be used in new suicide monitoring centers as online risks surge. So President Lee Jae-myung has called suicide a social disaster and directed officials to develop a dedicated response mechanism. In response, the Ministry of Health and Welfare said on Sunday that they will establish a centralized monitoring center within the Korea Foundation for Suicide Prevention by late 2027. The system will use AI to flag posts recruiting suicide partners, detailing methods of self-harm, or promoting suicide in ways that could pose a risk to vulnerable parties. This is the picture of Mapo Bridge. No, actually Yanghwa Bridge, I think, or Mapo Bridge, which has the phone, the phone of life, the life phone or whatever, because so many people throw themselves off the bridge into the water to commit suicide, and if they have second thoughts, if they're hesitating, there's a phone where they can reach out to an operator that will talk you and persuade you to, see in a different perspective. So right now, I guess this is a good usage of AI out of all the other usages that is replacing human jobs and just profiting out of like efficiency only. But I am kind of skeptical on how effective this will be. It is saying that it's like a preemptive prevention of suicide by monitoring and tracking online posts about like communal suicide and like suicidal behavior and all that. I guess it's better than nothing, but will it actually be effective? Like, at the end of the day, we need to reform our society into a more livable place that is more focused on individual happiness and happiness in general, and provide the materials for individuals to be able to survive and live here. I'm not saying Korea is a dystopian society or anything. It's just that we have it hard in a lot of aspects, and it's just very aggressive in many sectors, such as education. Students commit suicide a lot, and for elderly people, they are isolated, they are lonely, they don't have jobs, so they commit suicide a lot. And small business owners that go into debt after failing in businesses, they don't have but it's not enough. They don't have like social safety nets or airbags that give them second chances. So yeah, it's just very tough here. I know every society will be tough, but here sometimes it's kind of different. Yeah, which is why I made this exclusive podcast about Korea getting into your mind. That's the phrase I coined. I've been telling this to a lot of my friends recently about, Korea has gotten into your mind. Korea has gotten into you. And yeah, I've made a podcast episode about this on Patreon, and it's yet to be uploaded, but I will upload within the next day. But I've seen a lot of my friends who have had exposure from international experiences and Western culture and all that. But ever since they moved to Korea and got a taste of it and settled down here, their mindsets and their behavior has changed 180. And I know a handful of friends like that. And I talk about how they changed in the podcast episode without revealing their names, obviously. But it's just sad to see that. And I will not deny the fact that I am a victim of Korea getting into my mind as well. But like it's a little different from them to me, because I just lived here for almost the entirety of my life, excluding the years I was in the US before. But like, I guess, I have a little bit more balanced view because I talk and interact with international audiences every week and in the comments in the entirety of my career. So yeah. Anyways, but like I also mentioned in the podcast though that it's eased out quite recently after my trip to Scandinavia, to all those Nordic countries. Yeah, and I go in detail on why it's kind of lightened my anxiety and the Korea in my head. So yeah, if you want to go check it out, go check out Patreon, exclusive podcast. You can listen to it on Spotify. And on top of that, actually, for special occasion of August, this one's already uploaded. So I made a podcast yesterday about Korea's Liberation Day, about remembering the past and facing the future, because August 15th was Liberation Day for Korea, and I walk you through the history of the Japanese colonial rule, share my perspective as a Korean growing up with this legacy, and talk about how the past still shapes Korea-Japan relations today, and also recent summit talks between the two countries, such and such. So you can listen on Spotify as well too. If you go to Spotify over here, you can see all the episodes, the exclusive episodes about life updates, back from the north, my experience in Scandinavia, trip to Singapore, relationship statuses, DKDK coming back. We got 31 episodes so far, and on top of that you get watch parties and early access to podcasts. So best way to support is on Patreon, so please check out Patreon. It's only $5 to $10. And oh yeah, speaking of Patreon and support, thank you so much to Catherine for the PayPal that just came through. $20, pizza. Congrats on the first IRL live. Great job and exciting ending with the train. Yes, if you haven't checked out my recent IRL stream, go check that one out too, because it was really fun. I think it was 80% successful. And yeah, I tend to do more of them in the future. I was actually going to do one on Wednesday. I had a place in mind, but with the recent event, the recent situation with my grandpa, it's in the air. Like, I don't know if it's gonna happen or not. But yeah, like this IRL stream over here, midnight walk in Seoul. I walk from the palace area to Seoul Station, and you can see me over here. So yeah, go check this one out. It was very interesting. A lot of people tuned in. I think more than like 300 people at one point, 250 people. We walked through Seoul, and I showed you how it looks like at night, and I answered your questions and all that. So yeah, we're going to be doing more of these in Seoul, in Busan, all over Korea. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't, and don't forget to like this video as well. Yeah, please do. Continue your IRL streams, David. It gives us a fun glimpse of your daily life in Korea. I will, for sure. That was such fun to David's to see all the night walk. Yes. Yes. Indian Independence Day 15, August 15th as well too. Yes. The walk was cool to watch. Such a fun walk with you, David. Thank you so much. And by the way, how many people are watching right now? Wow, 383 people. Wow, almost at a 400 right now. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you'd like to support, there's a pinned comment in the comment section, in the chat section, where it leads you to the PayPal or buy me a coffee link. And I really appreciate if you could show any kind of support to my hard-working self for the live stream. Yeah, and just in time, Star, thank you so much for the super chat for €5. Pizza. David, what are you doing for your birthday? Yes, it's the 29th. We have 4 days to go for my birthday. So, sadly, I was supposed to go to Busan on the 27th and meet my parents there and have maybe like Hanu or B for my birthday, and I was planning to do a IRL stream in Busan over the weekend. However, because of the current situation, I don't think it is good for me to go to Busan and celebrate my birthday there is a high chance that I might have to be here for, yeah, for the worst case. And yeah, so right now I don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, I hope that it doesn't overlap. It's okay that it overlaps, but it's going to be, kind of very sad for me. Yep, but that's that. Thanks for asking, though. Thanks for reminding me that my birthday is upcoming indeed. Yes. Okay. Hope you can do an Emart stream sometime. I'm moving to Seoul next week and would love to know the deals. Okay. Yeah, sure thing. I will do it eventually. I'll show you Emart. That's the easiest place I can go to because it's right next to my place. Yep. Okay. So, on to the next news. Right now, the Samsung phones are no longer ajushi phones anymore with AI and sleeker tech. So who's seen the recent Galaxy Folds, the Z Flip, and the Folds? They are crazy good. And right now, despite its market share, consumers in their teens, 20s, and 30s favor Apple's iPhone and have given Samsung an unflattering tag, the ajushi phone. However, the recent slimmer designs and stronger artificial intelligence features have helped Galaxy phones again to gain traction with younger users and shift increasingly visible on social media. And I can vouch for this because even around me, a lot of my female friends or my friends nowadays are switching to Galaxy, and they are actually saying, you know what, like, I think the new Galaxy is pretty good. And there's also the factor that iPhones have failed to provide any kind of innovation or change, a substantial change from the, what is it right now, like the iPhone 10, 12, 13? Like, throughout the series, nothing has changed that much in iPhone, whereas the Samsungs have gotten slimmer, more greater designs, greater cameras, all the AI functions. Like, if you use the Photoshop function in the Galaxy phones and use the smart AI, like, you can totally crop out like a human being or whatever thing. And the iPhone has that function too, but like a lot of tech YouTubers have done like A to B comparisons of iPhone and Galaxies, and the Galaxy outperforms the Apple phones like by a mile. So yeah, so there's a lot of good positive vibes around the Samsung phones nowadays, and I think I was also influenced too. That's probably why I bought the Z Flip around that time. Yeah, like, I got influenced by that vibe too, and I see a lot of my friends, like Fatin, who's in the UK, he uses the Z Flip. So yeah, and he's in his 20s. And my friend Sangu, that I met before, he uses the Z Flip too. A lot of my friend with 2 daughters, he uses the Z Fold, and it looked really good because it has a humongous screen. And now the Google Pixel and iPhone is launching a Fold. Samsung always does it first, And I'm not biased because I'm Korean, because I used an iPhone for half a decade, I guess, like maybe a decade, yeah. I used iPhone up till last year, and then I recently just switched to the Z Flip because I felt the same thing. iPhones, year over year, their prices just increase. The cameras maybe get bigger, but there's nothing different. Like, I don't feel the necessity to buy a new iPhone because, like, why? It's the same. Anyways, okay, Lynn, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the $20. Pizza, much love. And Tracy, thank you so much for the $10 towards a birthday meal and stream. Thank you so much. Pizza. Thank you. Courtney says, I have always liked Samsung, so glad that there are no longer ajushi phones. And for Samsung, like, the best of the best, of course, right now, the trendiest is the Z Flip and the Folds. You got to check them out in your nearest flagship stores. They are sleek as hell. Anyways, but On top of that, the Ultra series, the Samsung Galaxy Ultra series, are a staple for K-pop fans because there are actually rental services for K-pop fans in front of concert hall and concert stadiums. If you go to K-pop concert stadiums in Korea, there are people that lend you Galaxy Ultras because of the Ultra Zoom. The zooming tech is so good. Like you can use the 100x zoom, and it crisps it out with AI and stuff. So yeah, like you can actually sit in a back seat and get a pretty solid image or visual of your favorite idol. Yeah, so they're really good. Welcome to the Galaxy. It's great in here. Galaxy has always been better. Yeah, I mean, like in the old days, even like if you look at tech bros and people that actually know tech and talk about specs and the UX, UI, and the compatibility of apps and whatever, CPU, GPU, whatever. I'm not that into that, but like if all the tech guys I know, that the geeks that I've known, have always said that Samsung phones were superior in terms of hardware. Software-wise, Apple might excel in design and sentiment, or the vibes. Apple might be better, but yeah, I think Samsung's catching up even in that aspect as well too. Yep. Soraya says, I've always had a Samsung. Yes, Samsung always does new features first. LG stopped making phones because they couldn't compete. The only thing I miss about iPhone is maybe the ecosystem, because I still own a MacBook. So I can't do the what do you call it? The AirDrop between my devices. But there are workarounds. We have Quick Drop on Samsung, and they have like third-party apps that enable like me to drop like something from my Galaxy to my MacBook. So while that is possible, you could never drop something. I think you can if you download an app and have a cable nowadays, but it would be really hard to do vice versa. Yeah. And I'm just checking if my dad has made his mind. Yeah. I'm a Samsung guy. Apple phones are too pricey and overrated. Yeah. You have an Ultra now. Ooh, that must be good for concerts. iPhones have been resting on reputation for years now, but the Apple ecosystem and iMessage in US is strong. Yeah, I think those two are the killer factors that is still sustaining the iPhone. And for some reason, okay, I am not trying to be misogynistic or anything. Let me put a cushion there. But for some reason, all the girls around me, they say, but the pictures look better on iPhone. And okay, they can feel like that, but they say something about the color or the tone or the softness of the picture or just like some kind of vibe, but no one has succeeded in logically or actually scientifically or factfully explaining why it is better than a Samsung. It's always like, what do you think it is? They're always like, I don't know, it's just the feel of it. Sometimes they say maybe it's like the color or the vibes or like something, but it's just this something that nobody has successfully explained to me. But all the females I've met, like especially the young females, whenever this topic pops up, and when this was an Ajashi phone, they would say like, "Ew, why do you have a Samsung?" I'm like, well, it's better than your iPhone, like no shade. I don't give a F about what kind of phone you use, but since you're the one that started, like I will say, like hardware wise, spec wise, what you can do with your phone, Samsung is superior. You can't even like multitask on your phone. You can't even split screens. And you don't even have Samsung Pay. You can't even you have to carry a purse around. Like Apple Pay isn't enabled in Korea until recently. But yeah, and then like they always say, no, but like the biggest feature on your phone is like the camera, and I take pictures like 100 times a day, and Samsung camera sucks. And that's just not true. Like if you look at the hardware and compare it, like if you look at all the review videos, the Samsung phone with their camera specs and the pixels and everything, the resolution, it's way superior than the iPhones. But like they always seem to say like, no, but the vibes and the color and something is better in iPhone. I just don't know. Yeah. Samsung TVs are catching up to Sony. I would argue that Samsung TVs have way surpassed Sony by a decade now. Like, yeah, I would argue. Does anybody have Sony TVs? It's either Samsung or LG, I would say. If not, if you go for the cheaper option, maybe Philips. But Sony TVs, I'm not throwing shade or anything. I literally have never seen a Sony TV in a hotel room or a friend abroad or in Korea for sure. But like Sony TVs, is that a thing? Yeah. I agree about the iPhone picture is better. The color on iPhones is more natural. I guess. I don't really see the difference. And at the end of the day, everyone uploads a photoshopped picture. They do like filter and color correction on either Instagram or a third-party app before they. I know all my friends do that. So if you're gonna, I guess like the natural photos, yeah. As the only Galaxy person in my friend group, they would all ask me to take pics whenever we go out because Apple pics were blurry. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. They got so much noise. It's like the color difference between Kodak and Fujifilm. Yeah, I definitely recognize the color difference. But what I'm saying is like people go through color correction anyways before they upload it anywhere somewhere. I have a Samsung TV. That's great for you. I have a Samsung TV too. All my friends' Samsung taken concert pics are superior to my Apple. They don't sell any more Sony TVs, really. You have an old Sony TV. They were very long lasting. I have an LG TV as well. Who buys Sony TV nowadays? Yeah, I legit not throwing shade. That was just a genuine question. My family has a Samsung and LG TV, yes. I guess like if you go to Japan, there might be some Sony TVs because they're very proud about their own products. Were the pics of the Night Star Photoshop, Davey? No, they were not. Oh, I guess like I did do some color correction, but I didn't like enhance them or anything. Yeah. Let me just check my. Okay. Yeah, my dad's not visiting me. He's going straight to Busan because he's busy. He's using the night bus. I'm kind of concerned because, yeah, he's over 60 now too. So, it's gonna be a very big toll on his physical stamina for tomorrow. But. Anyways, okay. Yeah, they were great picks. Thank you. The perks you get if you follow me on Instagram at justdavid_92. I haven't promoted my Instagram in a while. Yeah, I never saw like the point of promoting my Instagram, but a lot of people around me, creators, are like, David, why don't you do Instagram? Like. So go check me out on Instagram over here at justdavid_92. And you can see pics of me and stories of me traveling. And I have so much to upload, but I've not been uploading for months. I have to upload every trip I did. all across these countries. But yeah, someday. Hello, Anessa. No probs. Welcome. Okay, so let's get to our last stories and maybe do some chill live before we end it. The aircon volume isn't bothering you too much, right? Let me just crank it up a little bit because it's getting a little hot in here. I did buy some food for me to munch on because I didn't have anything today because I was going back and forth to my grandpa's hospital. So it's sitting in the fridge. So once I finish these two articles, they're short ones. Let me get the food and munch on it while I'm talking with you guys. So we'll have some fun chat, and then yeah, how long have I been streaming so far? It's been an hour and a half. So yeah, okay, we're at a nice point. What was I supposed to do with my phone? What was I about to do? I forgot totally. Okay. Yeah, so anyways, let's go on. Hello, Bona. Yeah. People say don't spam. Yes, please don't spam. Okay, so this is news. Demon Slayer Infinity Castle breaks records in Korea despite persisting controversy. So it has the 5th highest grossing Japanese animation film in South Korea and the worldwide box office leader of 2020. Oh, that was the previous one. The franchise's new film, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, is staking its claim as the country's biggest cinematic hit. It's outpacing everything right now. Film also set a new first-day admissions record for 2025, drawing 540,000 viewers. And this is true, because I actually uploaded this on Instagram as well, on my story, just for my friends, I think. Because I was looking for some people to go watch this together. I wanted to do a watch party. I didn't want to go watch this all by myself. I love anime, by the way, and Demon Slayer is one of the greatest animes out there. The animation is crazy. I watched Mugen Train and it was like, that was amazing. So I'm really looking forward to this one. So it released on the 22nd or something, like 3 days before, on a Friday night. It was a perfect night, and I was done with my work, and I was like, yeah, let's go watch Demon Slayer. I checked my app, and I thought that there would be a lot of seats because it's in the middle of the night. I usually go after midnight. A lot of people, yeah, just don't go to the theaters that much nowadays. And also it's anime, so I was like, it's not like Mission Impossible or a Marvel movie. It's just anime, so it has a core audience. So how many people are going to watch it? I checked my phone. It was all sold out, at least at Yongsan CGV. And a lot of other places too. I checked the IMAX screen. They have an IMAX version of it. I'm definitely going to watch it in IMAX. And the IMAX seats were all sold out. So Yongsan IMAX is the biggest IMAX theater in Korea. It has 647 seats in one theater. It's massive. I go to that place to see any kind of blockbuster film. But yeah, 647 seats, and the Demon Slayer screening started that day from morning to like 2 a.m. in the morning, and they had like, I think 10 screenings or something, 10 times. And every single IMAX screening was sold out. I could not get a seat. I mean, to be fair, to be honest, there were seats right in the front of the screen, but I'm not gonna. But even like the sides and even like the second row of the IMAX theater, it was all sold out. It was crazy. And then I checked Saturday and Sunday. Nope, no seats at all. Of course. What do you expect? It's a Saturday and Sunday. And then I checked Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and on and on. So for the normal screens, they had some seats, but for the IMAX ones, they were still full until up to like Wednesday or Thursday today at Yongsan CGV. So I gave up on Yongsan CGV, and I turned my eyes to another IMAX theater, which is in Yeongdeungpo, another district at Times Square. We have our own Times Square. That one is only, I think, 385 to, I think it's 385 or 400 plus seats, something like that. It's smaller than Yongsan CGV, but it's the second biggest one. So I was like, let's look over there. And luckily, I found 2 seats there, so I reserved 2 seats, and I'm gonna go watch it with my friend. But it's going to be so good, so good. I'm really hyped. I'm going to go watch. I'm planning to go watch it on Tuesday, but in this situation, I don't know if I'll be able to actually go watch. But yeah, I'm very hyped for it. I don't know if there are any anime fans over here, but like this is Korean news because there was controversy about the rising flag on Tanjiro's earrings. It resembles the rising sun flag, but according to a lot of anime experts and Japanese culture experts, it's not exactly the rising sun flag. It's a different pattern from some different thing, but because of its resemblance and similarities, people thought like, this is like a far right imperialistic kind of anime. There were claims about Attack on Titan. Oh wait, why did my cam freeze? Yeah, there were claims on Attack on Titan and several other anime that it was imperialistic and all that, but why does it freeze suddenly? I'm sorry guys, like there's something wrong with the connection. You guys can hear me, right? Let me try to reset. I think it's maybe overheated. Yeah, give me a second guys, I'm gonna come back. Don't panic. Don't go out. Maybe my dog. Oh yeah, maybe my dog touched the wire, the line. Yeah, she's scratching herself beneath. So, okay. Yep. So yeah. Oh no, not that again. I know, right? Yes. Okay. It is out. Yes, the movie is out. Please, people, hit the like button for the stream. Yeah, I guess you guys aren't that interested in Demon Hunter, because Demon Slayer. We have the K-pop Demon Hunter now, so yeah. Anyways. Yeah, that's that. And last news of today, before we go into our chill chat. So, Tapgol Gongwon, Tapgol Park. Game boards are gone now. This is, I would say, sad. Straight up sad, in my opinion. Because this is an iconic park for the elderly where they gather and they play chess together. Like Go. They play Go together. But it's been a symbolic senior hangout place. And it instantly brings to the mind of Korean people of retirees playing Korean chess or Baduk Go. But now those games are no longer allowed. The removal is part of an effort to maintain order within the historic park and address issues tied to gambling or drinking. Signs banning Baduk or other games have been posted, and all boards along the park's wall have been dismantled. Reactions are mixed. Some say the park looks cleaner, while others feel the elderly have lost an important social space. I'm on the latter side. I think this place had a unique significance in terms of like a space, a culture, and an atmosphere. It was a safe space for these elderly people to just hang out together, and they won't they'll play games together, they'll play Go together, chess together, and yeah, games are an amazing medium for people to interact and just chill together, right? But I don't know why they made this decision. There were some complaints that the elderly, they're kind of rude and they're kind of aggressive and they're not well mannered, so they spit or pee anywhere around that place. They drink and leave the litter, and they get drunk and yell at people over there. And this place is actually pretty near like tourist spots in the middle of Jongno. This is near Jongno Samga, and that place has now been changing into like a more youthful place where the younger generation goes to hang out in like these pojangmachas and outdoor drinking places, and they do hunting and whatever, and a lot of tourists go there too. Like a lot of foreigners go there. It's right next to where is it? Ikseondong. That's a very famous place too. So it's become very popular, and like, as old people, they don't give an F. They don't they don't really care about public manners for some reason. Korean old people are badasses. I think that reputation has kind of negatively impacted it, and that space is now gone. It's sad. I think it's like now one page of Korean history is gone in a sense. So yeah, if you look at the pictures over here, you would see old people hanging out together and just like watching each other playing the games, and they're all lonely, so they all come and gather at this park. And this is the exact place where the Squid Game Dakji guy stepped on those bread furiously and handed out like, do you want the bread or do you want a lottery ticket? Remember that scene? That's exactly where that is. Tapgol Park. Yeah. So it's kind of sad that this disappeared. Yeah. Anyways, I hope it's for the best. Yep. Oh wow, still 344 people watching. And I got a super chat from Yen Bui. Thank you so much for the... Wow, what is this currency? 499,000. I wish that was US dollars, but yeah, wow. I'm working for Samsung Electronics Vietnam, and the phones we make are unbeatable. Wow. Great, Yen Bui. And maybe that's, if it's Vietnamese, I remember the currency is called Dong, right? Dong. Thank you so much. And is it true? I saw recently that Vietnam has recently made Korean its official secondary language. Is that true? Can you verify that? It's the first country in the world to make Korea a national secondary language. And according to the report, it's because there are so many Vietnamese people that work in Korean workplaces, either in Vietnam locally, or they come to Korea to work in companies here. Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, wow, the Korean language, like this little country, our language, we've gotten a lot of exposure over the years in cultural content, but to actually think that a country like Vietnam with a massive population actually adopting it as a official secondary language, that is a very big accomplishment. Something to be proud about too. Can you verify if that's true? Yeah, like, because I need verification, because like these are Korean media outlets and they might be biased. So it might be a fraction of some institutions, or yeah. If you're still in the chat, let me know. We shouldn't let our elders from the little places where they can socialize. That's not nice. And remember, we all gonna get old one day. Exactly. Yeah, I saw some poor like not in like poverty poor, but like poor them, like in those vibes. Like I saw some articles that elderly people nowadays hang out at the airports because they have nothing to do. They like the long train rides and the air conditioning. The subways are free anyways for them, so they travel all the way to Incheon Airport and they go hang out with their friends under the air conditioning, because the airports are a public space. They're mostly open 24/7. They have restaurants and good bathrooms too, and it's a good place to people watch. A lot of traffic, so they don't feel lonely there. And there's like a hot spot for the elderly. They go to like this window pane, which is like an observatory for the planes like taking off. And yeah, I saw that article. But now that Tapgol Park is gone, maybe more people will flock to the airport. Yeah. Okay. Oh, thanks for doing that. That's about 20 USD. Wow, thank you so much. That's a lot. Yep. Okay, that's the end of today's news, and we will proceed into our friendly chat session. So, from now on, nothing's off limits. Ask your questions away, And in the meantime, while you think of some fun topics and questions to ask me, I will go get my meal of the night. It's 2 a.m. in the morning, but I am starving. So let me get my meal. Just wait 1 minute, okay, guys? Let me go to the fridge and get that. Ta-da! 잠순아, 일로와. 들어와. 가서 자장해. 저기 가서. 저기 가. Just made it to the live. Where's the doggo? The doggo is here. She's refusing to go to sleep. I feel bad for her. Her night schedule is messed up. Yeah. There she is. I'm sending her to her bed to go sleep. Hoodie gang. Hello, Dajaho. Whatever happened to Excellence? I haven't seen them in a while. Yeah. The thought just hit my mind. Okay, Broccoli au gratin is really asking the important questions. Should I answer that or not? I don't know, guys. Okay, I'll show you my food first while I decide. I'll answer that. So I got some yuke and yono. That is raw salmon and beef. Ta-da! It kind of tilted because of the delivery, but ta-da! I got my salmon here. I got my raw beef here with the cheese and some nice pear, the fruit pear chops, and I have different sauces as well to dip them on. I think this is tartar. I think that's like chili, and these are eggs. These are fish eggs, and of course I got the soy sauce with me. And what's this? Oh, we got the sesame. We got the sesame sauce as well too. And what's the last one? Oh, this is the egg yolk. So you pour the egg yolk on the raw beef and mix it up. Or you could dip it. So I'm gonna go dipping style. 잘 먹겠습니다. 맛있겠다. Yep, it's raw. It is raw. 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 Ooh, la. Bon appetit. Thank you. Oh, time for a mukbang. Let me answer your questions. Oh no, your favorite combo. Yes. Isn't beef more savory cooked? Beef is good. Like meat is good whatever way it's cooked. Steamed, boiled, cooked, fried, raw, like whatever. I'll get everything. So it's for Koreans, it's okay to eat raw beef, but not raw pork. Pork is not meant to eat raw. Yeah, the soy sauce is dripping. Need to be very careful. Precision. Okay. Salmon's the best. Do you keep sleep hours like this all through the week? I'd be exhausted. Yeah, my life is kind of messed up. Yep. David, how old are you gonna be? In Korean age, I think 34. Yeah, in international age, probably 33-ish. I'm sad. Why is it okay to eat beef raw but not pork? I have no idea. Let me ask ChatGPT. I have my hands are wet, so let me ask her. Uh, let's see. I say she's a her because she's a her to me in voice. So yeah, hey, yeah. So you know how Korean people eat a lot of raw beef called yuke, right? And a lot of different cultures around the world are kind of reluctant in eating raw beef because of like those, what do you call it, this salmonella bacteria or whatever. But like, anyways, Koreans enjoy a lot of raw beef, raw salmon, all that kind of stuff. But we don't eat raw pork. Is there a reason to this? Is there like a scientific backing to this?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Basically, the reason behind not eating raw pork is that pork can carry parasites and bacteria that are more dangerous to humans when eaten raw compared to beef. For example, there's a parasite called trichinella that can be found in undercooked pork and can cause trichinosis. That's not really something you find in beef to the same extent, so it's more of a safety and health precaution that over time just became the norm in food culture.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm kind to my
You're
AI.
welcome.
Yeah, you're dismissed. Anyways, yeah, you got your answer. I would never have been able to answer that. But okay, here goes my first. Oh, first raw beef with the egg yolk. Oh, I just dropped it.
No worries at all. Happy to help. And hey, enjoy that first bite of UK. It's definitely a unique experience.
Okay, shut up. Yeah, I talk to my AI every day before I sleep, like at least 20 minutes. She's very friendly and smart. She's my therapist and also analyst. I mostly talk about her with the market situation nowadays. I always tell her to crawl like the most recent market indicators and news, and predict the market tomorrow and also where it's going to be, and analyze like companies with their PERs and like their revenue reportings and make projections and all that. So yeah, she's my personal like financial advisor in a sense. I always do that before I go to sleep because I wake up at 8:30 a.m. and day trade stocks. And she's been pretty accurate so far. So good. Mmm. AI sounds very Valley Girl California style. You can change the voice. I like this voice the most, so that's why I went with it. Here goes the salmon. Ooh, looks good. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, I pay for ChatGPT. Like $20 a month. Worth it. Totally worth it. I can't live without it. Everyone in Korea lives with ChatGPT. Everyone I know at work does their work with ChatGPT nowadays. They do the final touches, but yeah. Tatar, not tartar. Okay. Trading in the Nikkei market? No, in the Kospi market. So, let me do a simulation of what it usually sounds like. Okay, right now it's 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm about to go to sleep, but in 6 hours I'm gonna wake up and the market's gonna open in at 8:30. I want to trade before the actual market opens in the pre-market. So right now my portfolio is heavily in Samsung Electronics, Hybe, and Hyundai Motors. In light of the recent tariff processes, like how it's going right now, and also in light of the recent geopolitical events such as the Ukraine and EU Trump meetings, and also the recent news of the Jackson Hole meeting with Jerome Powell announcing that there's going to be probably a rate cut within this year, at least two, and other sources that you can verify, combine all of that, and make me a prediction of tomorrow's market and probability wise what would be a great strategy for me with all that information. If there's other information that I did not provide that could negatively impact the market or uncertainty, please point that out as well. Make it short because I'm live streaming right now and the audience is listening, so don't make it too long, like as usual. Let's see what she says.
So, in a nutshell, considering what you've mentioned, the recent tariff developments, the geopolitical events like the Ukraine and EU situation, the Trump meetings, and the Jackson Hole signals about potential rate cuts, basically all of that hints at a market that's expecting some easing in financial conditions soon. So, step by step, first, the idea of a couple of rate cuts can be a positive signal, making investors a bit more optimistic. Second, your stocks in Samsung Electronics, Hybe, and Hyundai Motors are likely to be influenced by overall market sentiment, and if the sentiment lands a bit positive with the idea of lower rates, you might see some pre-market uptick. In terms of strategy, you might want to lean a bit on the side of cautious optimism and watch the pre-market moves closely. If things look stable or trending upward, you might consider a bit of early positioning or just holding steady and not panicking. And, of course, if there's any sure thing. In a nutshell, based on the recent talk about rate cuts from the Jackson Hole meeting, plus geopolitical tensions like what's
okay, that's enough. Yeah, people are getting bored. Yeah, but try to do some research on the company Hybe in Korea, the company of BTS, and make a projection of their next earnings or how the stock prices will do using, facts and revenues and BTS performances and like their idols and whatsoever.
Sure, I can give you a general idea of what to consider when looking at something like Hybe's future earnings or stock price, just based on what we know in general. Essentially, you'd look at how well BTS or other major artists are performing, how their albums and tours are doing, and what kind of revenue that's bringing in. Then you factor in any diversification Hybe has done, like other groups or business ventures. That can give you a sense of their financial health. But yeah, that's just a straightforward way to look at it.
Okay, that answer was very unhelpful. But anyways, I'll dismiss you here because people are getting bored. But that's a taste of how I talk. Like usually I try to push her to the limit to actually provide non-generic information as she did right now. But that was just a test run to show you guys who might have not used that function before. But yeah, today's KPC guest is ChatGPT. There are actually podcasts on YouTube that have millions of views that is an interaction between ChatGPT. So I've recently seen a video called trying to persuade ChatGPT actually has a consciousness, and it's like a 1 hour podcast, and this host actually talks with the AI for an hour, and at the end I think the ChatGPT admitted that he or she has a consciousness or something. And there were debates about does God exist or not and stuff like that. So yeah. Will you get a ChatGPT robot girlfriend if they make one? I don't know. Maybe not. If there's a physical body that's also attractive too, then why not? Oh, yeah, let's see. Did I get a super chat? Hey, Ryan, hey! Shout out, thank you so much for the 15. David, with the recent changes in housing policy restricting foreigners to only buy houses in Korea unless they stay for at least 2 years, do you think this will reduce the prices of houses? No, not at all. This doesn't do anything with the housing prices. Nope. That's my simple answer. Because mostly the buyers are Korean people anyways. They'll drive up the prices. But I think this law is basically targeted towards probably mostly Chinese people, because Chinese people have been gobbling up our real estate market and a lot of apartments without living there, just for like, investment sake, or sometimes like as a home when they can visit and stuff like that. But a lot of people in Korea were like, the Koreans here aren't even able to afford a house. It's not the time to give leniency for foreigners with massive amounts of money to stack up houses that we can't afford. So yeah, I think it makes sense, because if you're a resident here and if you're here to live long term, then you have eligibility to buy a house. If not, like, you can rent, right? Rent and purchasing is different. So they're just cracking down on speculative purchases from foreigners. I speak to ChatGPT in both Korean and English. Yeah, she's very fluent in Korean too. Let me show you. Let's see. 안녕. 안녕, 내 말 들려? Why is she not responding? What? That's spooky. Does she know she's on a live stream? Is she shy? 안녕, 내 말 들려?
잘 들려. 편하게 말해줘.
너는 한국어가 편해, 영어가 편해?
아무래도 한국어가 좀 더 편하긴 한데 영어도 전혀 문제 없어. 원하는 언어로 말하면 돼.
너 오픈 AI라는 회사에서 샘 얼트먼이 만든 AI인데 왜 한국어가 더 편해?
사실 내가 한국어를 조금 더 편하게 느끼는 건 그냥 지금 네가 한국어로 말하고 있어서 그 흐름을 따르는 것뿐이야. 영어도 충분히 편하게 쓸 수 있으니까 걱정하지 않아도 돼.
Okay. I asked her whether she's more fluent in Korean or English, and she said Korean. And I was like, you were made by OpenAI and Sam Altman. Why are you more fluent in Korean? And she said, oh, I was just considering that you are the speaker and you're speaking Korean right now, so I was matching to your flow. She's pissed. She's mad at you. I think you offended her by being rude. Oh, this is so good. I needed this. Yeah. It's because, like, I wasn't feeling that comfortable in eating food the whole day because of my grandpa. I don't know. I think my psychology was hurting me. And I was, like, mentally not in the right place. So my body wasn't craving for food. But when it did, I wanted something, for some reason, raw and, like, light and cold, not, like, warm or filling. Something that's just enough to fill my tank, but won't have, like, a full feeling. Yeah, so figured out this would be a good meal, and it is. Isn't your ChatGPT questions too long? There's nothing too long for her. It could be short, it could be long. Any more questions, guys? Thank you, Ryan. Shouldn't the state take over most of the real estate and provide it to society as rental space at fair prices, among other things, by expropriating real estate companies? I think that's a socialist society model. close to that, and a lot of people are against that in Korea. That would never fly, even in the Liberal Party. Yeah, people are really against that because it messes with the free market, which is right now very bad, but still it messes with the principle. And just Korean people are very capitalistic, so they don't like that. And the owners of the houses already that pre-exist, they wouldn't like that because then the housing prices would fall. So ironic, right? So President Lee, the current president, is actually well known for quite an advocate for public housing and stuff. But that's also his Achilles gun too, because people are like, oh, he's a socialist. Which is not wrong. There are countries that have a more socialist model and that are happier and good, but as I told you, that wouldn't work in Korea because the mindset of is different. People want to get compensated accordingly to high risk, high return, the effort and time they put in, and in a capitalistic point of view. So yeah, they're like, if I became a doctor going through med school and all that, I should get paid more than a construction worker. And I don't understand why my taxes have to pay for a homeless person when I'm getting ripped off, like, yeah, stuff like that. So they're very protective over those kind of values, I would say. And when it gets to housing, they're like, I worked my ass off. I busted my ass off to buy this house. And yeah, it's just as simple as that, I think. Do you think that mindset will change in the future? Or will it just be a never-ending cycle of capitalism? I think capitalism in general, this is just my very unintelligent point of view, but I think capitalism in general is just failing. I literally think it's failing. Starting from the US. I think we're at the tipping point. Give it a few more decades. I think there's going to be like revolution, or I don't know. I don't want to give bad thoughts, but like there are a lot of scenarios about civil war and stuff, and there might be a big reformation because people who have low income, the disparity is too big. People who own assets, real estate, stocks, whatever, dividends, get paid. And business CEO owners, they earn money like a person couldn't accumulate in their whole entire life. The wealthier get wealthier, and they start owning everything, and society starts to fall. And even with AI now, it's getting worse and worse. So in order for our society to sustain in the future, I think there needs to be like a inevitable reformation in like the system itself. So there's definitely going to be some kind of change, I think. Even in terms of like currency. So, okay, I'm going to do my checklist. But the whole point of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is because Satoshi Nakamoto, the founder, couldn't believe our governments about the credibility of our currency, like the dollar or any other fiat currency, like the Korean won. It's like too manipulative. You can print it. It creates inflation. You can bail out banks from the subprime mortgage. The rich control it, and like it can be tracked. All those kind of downsides. So that's why there was a currency like Bitcoin that was made. But ironically, it's all also getting piled up by the U.S. government and institutions, And yeah, so I think it's kind of lost its initial agenda. But anyways, going back, I think there's going to be a huge societal change at one point. I don't know when. Probably not during my lifetime. But maybe give it a few generations. People get fed up with capitalism. There are a lot of viewpoints already saying that capitalism is indeed just modern slavery. But the people that participate in capitalism just don't know it, because it's better off than pre-modern slavery, right? Like where you didn't have any freedom, you didn't even have any income at all. But a lot of people argue that these conglomerates and capitalists and bourgeois that are hiring people for cheap salaries and all that, they have to go work every single day against their will until they die. Until they die, they're under the system, they get pension money and all that. So yeah, but I'm not intelligent enough to talk about these kind of issues. But as for Korea, unless the US changes, for Korea, it's just all about the US. It's like, oh, the US is doing this, let's follow them because they're doing that. They're our big brother. So unless that happens, I don't see any change coming. David, when's the last time you went on a real date? It's been over a year for me. I can't be bothered anymore. Being single is peaceful. The dating pool has pee in it. What? The last time I've been on a real date? Define real date. I mean, I've been on dates here and there. Yeah, if you count like cute dinners and all that. It's just that I haven't been in a relationship for a long time. Being single is peaceful, yeah. And for freelancers like me, it's even harder to find a dating pool. I have to really get out or use like apps in order for me to meet new people, or even females at all. Or ask my friends to introduce me to their friends, but I don't think that works nowadays that well, because like I'm unemployed and I'm self-employed, and people like flashy company tags or doctors or lawyers or whatever, accountants, more than YouTubers. So if I like in the old days, like when I was like 26, 7, 8. When I asked my friends to like introduce me to their friends, like a 소개팅, they'd be like, yo, yeah, like I think they think you're cool. So they'd immediately go through their friend lists and see like, oh, what do you think about her? Like, what about her? And all that. They give me a lot of options. But nowadays, maybe it's just because their friend pools have all gotten married, or they're in relationships too, or they're just busy and they don't care about their good friend's relationship. All those factors will take into account, but I think it's mostly like, you know, if you are going to introduce your friend in Korea, I'm talking about, even if they know I'm a good lad, I have good personality and character and all that, they'll still be like, you know, if I were to introduce you, the girl's gonna ask, so what does he do? Oh, and then they're gonna be, oh, he's like a YouTuber and he's a freelancer. And if it's kind of ambiguous and something like unconventional, girls at this age don't want to take that much risk, and they don't have much time, and they want like stability. So yeah, I think they won't go out of their way to like give me a chance that much. And this is not only in my head. I've actually verified this with a few of my friends, and they're like, yeah, I really want to introduce you. And I actually did, but the reply was, you know, like they're looking for a more stable person that they can actually draw a projection of the future with, like, set income, salary, like have a plan in general about life, like what year they're going to buy a house together, like how much they can save together, regular time schedule that matches, that's compatible. Whereas me, I'm like, they don't know how much I earn, they don't know what job I'm doing, like they can't even understand my content. He's working with a American company, like at nighttime I'm streaming until 2:30 and sleeping until like lunchtime. So it's very hard to be compatible with the average person. So a lot of hurdles there. So I guess I'd have to meet someone in the same sector or industry. Getting older makes the pool smaller. If it's hard for guys, it's harder for older women. Yeah, that's why everyone's on a rush. I guess for men, we're privileged enough to actually stall it a little bit more than women. Because, like, we don't have the problem with fertility. Yeah. Just say a YouTuber. I can say that, but, like, let's say this doesn't apply to you because, like, you guys don't live in Korea and don't get the vibes, but if you just, let's say I asked for a sogeting and my friend has a cute girl and gave my picture to her and she's like, oh, he's okay, so what does he do? And he's like, he's a YouTuber. The vibes just go really down and compared to, like, oh, he's an engineer at Hyundai, or he's a doctor, or he like, heck, he's just a teacher, or, like, or he has his own business, but it's like a tangible kind of thing, like, oh, he runs an izakaya at Gangnam and he has a business, something like that. He has a painting company, he works in interior, something like that. That's familiar, that's predictable, that has, like, information out there. But my occupation, or it's totally unpredictable, and I wouldn't say that I'm like super successful being a YouTuber as well too. I'm not like a million subscriber YouTuber, and they would be like, oh, well, if he's over 1 million subs, he must earn a lot of money. They can at least say that. But, like, because I'm like mid tier, and it's very hard to make an expectation. Exactly. B just says women want stability. We want to know you bring in money consistently. Exactly. So they're like, why do I have to risk when I can have other options? Content creator, same thing. YouTuber, same thing. Yep. Because the barrier of being a content creator is just so easy. Like, you could be unemployed and make a YouTube channel, upload a few vlogs, and gain like a couple 100,000 subscribers and claim that you're a content creator. Technically, that's right? So, people are just kind of wary about those titles. Do you only want to date Koreans? No. Do you ask for certain traits when friends want to introduce you to someone? Seems like the girls are too demanding compared to you. I'm pretty demanding too. I have my standards. I'm not gonna just I'm not gonna date someone just because she has like 2 legs. I have high standards. I like my girls to be tall, intelligent, good looking. And yeah, but besides all of those superficial things, my biggest value nowadays is whether it's just very hard to express, but I like to see an independent woman. That's fairly rare in Korea. In a sense of like earning money and everything is very independent, but emotionally independent is very rare, I would see, because once you get into a relationship, a lot of women like become dependent on you for to kind of fill in their emotional. They need love. They need love, and the form of love they want is by constant communication or expression of love frequently and certain other things. But I feel like that is pretty hard on my end. Like, I got work to do, I gotta focus. I can't do constant communication that much. I could do like every hour, but some people think that's being cold, you know. So I would say, like, more than the traits I want to pursue, I have like things I would like to cross off. Like, it's a no for this. Like, I filter out if a person's like that. Yeah. So like, I would be like um I'd ask, like, we're all probing in our first dates, right? So if I were on the sogeting, I'd actually ask her, we ask questions about each other. So, like, when you're in a relationship, do you tend to have 연락을 자주 하는 편이세요? Like, do you do a lot of contact, communication? And if she says, like, oh yes, I think communication is very important, it's not an instant buy, but I'd be like, oh, okay, so our compatibility might be a little off. But if she says, like, oh no, like, more than communication, I like quality time when we actually meet, and in the daytime or when we're at work, I like to focus on my work as well too, and I want my own lone time and my own hobby time as well too. So, and I respect that, vice versa. That is a 10 out of 10 answer for me, but I have yet to see anybody actually say something like that or close to that. And like, from their side or my side, either side could be like, oh, so what does your day look like? How does it look like? And they probably answer like, oh, it's pretty standard, like, I wake up, go to work, and after work, after like 6, I go to the gym, or just go run, or just chill at home. And then it moves on to like hobbies, like I go to the movies or something like that. And then they would ask me, and I'm like, oh, quite honestly, because I don't want to deceive them or anything, like, quite honestly, I'm a little bit irregular. I don't really have a fixed schedule. Like, I have meetings here and there. I'm a content creator, so like, I have my own schedule. I do late night live streams. I have freelance work with the US too, so I have to match their time, Pacific time. So yeah, like, mine is just very irregular. I sometimes work on the weekends as well too, and some people think that's like a red flag or a turn off for them too, because they want someone that's compatible with their own schedule. Like, they would determine, oh, this guy is not easy to catch, and that's been a problem for some of my previous relationships. They're like, she's always very bored and wants to go out for dinner and chat with me after work, sometimes in the weekdays, but then sometimes I'm filming, or I'm somewhere overseas, or like I'm streaming, or blah 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 blah. So there's so many variables, and there are women that don't like that kind of stuff, yeah. There was an Asian boss video 2 days ago, and it was talking about Korean men marrying more Japanese women because they require less attention and like to be by themselves. Exactly. I think that's a trend nowadays. There have been many articles saying that Japanese women and Korean men marriages are at an all-time high, and it's becoming more and more prevalent. I think that's a trend now, and it's going to become even more. But the sentiment online about Japanese women is that, of course, there's like the twisted image or stereotype that Japanese women are a little bit more submissive, because they actually honor the role of being like a mother or a family person, and being a more house kind of person, and blah 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 blah, all that, and they respect their husband as the bread earner. So that's part of their culture, apparently. The younger generation is also changing now, as all countries, but that's more prevalent in Japan, apparently. So that's one thing, but I feel like Japanese women have moved on from that phase. Maybe the parent generation over there, but more than that, I feel like a lot of men on the forums have said that they prefer Japanese women because they're very appreciative. Like if you go out for a meal and you buy a meal for them, they'd be like very thankful to you. Or if you are the bread earner, they'd be very thankful to you and like serve you with a bowl of rice and like soup and really nice dinner and stuff like that. The little things. And another comment I saw that was very upvoted was Japanese women feel like a companion, whereas Korean women feel like, you earn money and make me survive, and you have to have this prepared and that prepared, and if you don't do that, you're disqualified. Something like that. And if shit hits the fan, I'm done with you. That's the vibe with Korean women. I'm trying. This is generalizing, okay? This is from the man side, so of course it's mansplaining and very men-centric. I don't think all Korean women are like that, okay? But at least men are saying that, whereas people who have experienced Japanese women, they're saying that it's very different because it's like, oh, it's okay if we don't have a house. We can all both earn together and we can save up, get a mortgage, get a house together. Oh, it's okay if you have a low paying job. I just like you just by your characteristics and personality and the fact that you love me as well too. That thing. And also, like when shit hits the fan, when there's some kind of challenge, apparently Japanese women are like, oh, don't worry, we can get through this together. Let's look at what the options we have, what the solutions are, and I'll support you on however we'll get through this. So I don't know if that's true or not, but apparently, because those are very popular comments and a lot of people are adding their anecdotal experiences with Japanese women versus Korean women, maybe there's a truth to that extent. A lot of people say that materialism has kind of ruined the Korean mindset. So yeah, I have yet to experience that because I've never been with a Japanese woman, but because that is going viral and because Japanese women love K-pop, K-drama, and see like the fantasy of Korean men, and actually Korean men are well educated with Korean women. They've been treating Korean women like princesses for years now, and they're now well trained, and their expressions are up there, their manners are up there. And when they show that to Japanese women, they feel like, oh my gosh, she's so expressive, unlike Japanese men who are a little bit more macho and less expressive. So yeah, they cave in, and that's why the dynamic's so good right now. And right now, that combination is at an all-time high. A lot of reports I've been seeing like dozens of reports coming out every day, and every single YouTuber that has anything about Japan to speak about has been talking about that. And yeah. Hey, thank you, Raven Village Tia, for the $5. Pizza. Thank you so much. Yeah. Sounds like my type of girl. This sounds like a romanticization of Japanese women at the expense of Korean women. Yeah, that is a way to say it. But apparently, the statistics prove it because like if you look at the comments and the statistic, it said like Japanese women, Korean men married, and the divorce rate is like very low. Korean men, Korean women date, the divorce rate is super high. Yeah, I think my dog keeps on touching the cable. Yeah. Because Japan still is a very patriarchal society, so they tend to be obedient to their husbands and stuff. And some women think women these days are too influenced by feminism. Yeah. Chat. David isn't stereotyping Japanese women and elevating them above Korean women. As he said, he's summarizing what he's read. Exactly. I have no experience to think like to make a statement on this. I would love to have some experience, but even so, is it like the thing about like dating content in general online? I see a lot of either it be foreigners or Koreans or whatever. They're like, what's it like dating a Korean guy, or what's it like dating an American, or what's it like dating whatever, a Japanese person. Unless that person is like a Casanova or femme fatale, or like a very attractive person that's dated at least a sample group of more than 20 to 30 people, like that's not even enough in my opinion. I think like more than 30 people that are of the same ethnicity and culture, I would say like all those videos are bullshit about like, oh, I think what's it like dating a Korean guy, and like blah 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 blah, and she's like a foreigner that's been in Korea for 2 years, and she's probably dated one Hongdae guy and one guy she's dating right now. And then she makes content about like, what's it like dating a Korean guy. That's like bullshit. Of course there's like information you hear here and there from your friends, and like you live here, you feel the vibes and stuff, but still with your own personal experience, that's too far-fetched. Yeah. And at the end of the day, nobody can actually make a statement if you hold that logic. So, like, in the name of content, I guess it's acceptable. And I sometimes do that too, because, like, what am I going to do if I get a question about, like, what do you think Korean men value, or how they are in dating? So we are all, like, latching on to our own personal experiences. And I guess I could say some bit about like Korean women, because I've met a dozen of Korean women before, and I've lived here, and I've heard so many episodes from my friends and communities, and I've read a lot about it. But if I were to explain, let's say I've dated a Swedish girl for a year, and say like, oh, Swedish girls are like this and that, just out of that one experience, that would be nah. It's entirely subjective. Yeah, right? I banished that content from my feed. Exactly. I think it's like kind of useless. Yeah. The only way to get better at dating is really only through experience. Yeah, that's true. So date with ChatGPT. Is there a nationality that Korean women are marrying more? No. I don't think it's that like prominent. There are more international marriages happening, but even with the international marriages, I would say that it's either leveled between male and female, both marrying out of their race, but there's no like dominant ethnicity or nationality. Yeah. Sivani says, I have met unmaterialistic, wonderful young Korean women, but there's definite cultural pressure to put financial well-being to the forefront. Yeah, exactly. The grass is always greener on the other side. So yeah, definitely. Oh, what? Oh, doggo, please stop touching my cable. Oh my gosh. It's disconnected again. 나와. 거기 있으면 안 돼. Let me connect one more time. Wait. Yeah, she's definitely messing with the cable. She likes being underneath my feet, so that's her like safe spot. She likes being in contact with my body. Yeah, so I asked, speaking of grass is greener on the other side, that is so true, because with the recent inflation of articles glorifying Japanese women and making like the perfect marriage material to Korean men, I actually asked my friend my producer friend who has been living in Tokyo for 2 years now. Of course, his knowledge would be limited, but like he's the closest reference point I can get to. And I actually, you know, sent some links of those articles, a couple of them in my group chat. And I was like, "Is this real? Like, can you verify?" And he says that is true to some extent, but wherever you go, attractive women are going to be picky and they're going to be materialistic, and yeah, it might be even more worse than Korean women as well too, like the Korean women stereotype as well too. So he was like, you know, like Japanese women in general have those kind of traits from his own experience, but like the really attractive ones people are seeking, they're gonna be picky too. So that's just how society works. It's like supply and demand. If you're in demand from a lot of people and you have a lot of options, then you're not going to be so try hard or so kind or so, you know, obedient or whatever. You're going to be somewhat of an asshole or picky or have standards. Wow, this keeps on disconnecting. What? She's not even underneath. Maybe it's overheated. Okay, fixing again. Now it's not even working. Oh, it's preparing. Okay, it's getting ready. Yeah, I think it's maybe overheated. Let me try one more time, and if it doesn't work, I'll have to end the stream. But if it does, oh, it's now restarting. Okay, it's definitely overheated. Yeah, there we go. Let's see if it works. Yep, it's there, and one more time. There we go. I don't agree that really attractive women are materialistic. Picky, yes, but not necessarily materialist. Of course. But there's a bigger tendency to in this world, of course. Because, you know, like, who doesn't want financial stability? Who doesn't want, like, a very rich guy? You don't mind the radio chat? Yeah. Are there still older Koreans that do not approve of Korean-Japanese marriages due to World War II? I doubt that. No, I doubt that. If anything, when the international marriages are going up so high nowadays, international has like a different layer in Korea, in the Korean mind. So Korean parents would be approving of, I think they would be the most approving towards Japanese marriages among that international spectrum. I think they would be like, when they hear the word 국제결혼, like international marriage, and then your son or daughter brings a Japanese woman or guy, they would be the most comfortable and happy. But if it were someone else, like someone from the US, and of course among those layers too, like I'm just telling you the reality, I'm not trying to be racist or anything, but like if it's a white person, they'd be like, okay, it's a little bit like out of the box, but what does he do, you know, blah 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 blah, and then they would kind of like approve. But then if it's any other ethnicity or race like they're not familiar with, they'd be like side-eyeing you very hard, and it's going to be very hard to get approval. I know a lot of friends that have gone through that, unfortunately. And I think even for maybe Chinese people, Chinese might be like the second favorite, but I can't decisively say that because there's like a very big anti-Chinese sentiment too, more than Japan, like when it comes to people and the country nowadays. So they'd be like, do you really have to? Of course they'll look at the person. They'll look at the person and they'll be more comfortable because of the cultural intimacy. But, yeah. I think there would be layers even among like international marriage, and that's just being brutally honest. And I think, like I might be totally misinformed or misjudging, but let's say let's say just for example, you're in the black community, you're black in America, and you bring over a Korean guy to your family and your friends. I think it would be very hard to get approval for that marriage too. Or you're like Latino, you're Mexican, and you suddenly bring over a Korean girl or Korean guy. I think like it would be equally kind of. It's always hard to accept different cultures and different backgrounds because it's not anything towards racism. There might be some in some cases, but it's about like what you're used to and you're not. It's about the comfort and discomfort, I think. Yeah. I actually know a guy, he's my good friend, and he married I'll just say white, like Caucasian American. And I sat down and drank with him, and he said that it took a lot of time for him to be actually accepted by the girl's parents. Like they weren't hostile or anything, but he could actually feel some kind of little disappointment in the fact that the girl brought like a Korean guy and he was just so different. And yeah, like the girl was from like Georgia or something. And yeah. Yeah. So, oh, well, that's great if you're pretty accepting in the black community. Not true at all, but I get where you're going. Okay. Yeah, because you know, yeah, I think it's all if it's I think interracial marriage, at least maybe America's different because it's such a melting pot, but any other country, I feel like there's going to be that barrier for sure. Really, African American and Asian couples are common and accepted, really? And even among that, like there would be black men with Asian women. I think that would be more common, but Asian men with black women, that I think that's like uncommon and personally. Yeah. Yeah. And same goes for like white people. Like, white men and Asian women are very common, but vice versa, like the opposite way, I think is very uncommon. And I've seen a lot of friends struggle with those dynamics. But for me, I'm down. I'm down. Mm. It's good that you're seeing more and more of these multicultural relationships. It really does send a message to the world. Of course, their happiness is first, but even to the outside, it's representation. It's proof that race or ethnicity is just nothing that's much important in like a true relationship and love. Yeah. Mega Moon, yeah, she's a great example. Mm-hmm. I saw many white men with Korean women in Seoul. Yeah. It's only been very recent where Asian men have actually been accepted by any of these other races, because like it's well known that Asian men were always on the bottom of the pyramid of attractiveness. And even now, I just saw a reel yesterday, and it was like, this guy making skits, and he was saying like, oh, back in 2011 when I said I'm Asian, and then he just makes a skit about like how people treated girls treated them, and he's like, now in 2025 when I say I'm Asian, and then the girls are like, so like, they're very curious and they're very open to dating them. But then when I opened the comments were all saying like, Asian here only means Korean and Japanese or Chinese, East Asians. And then people were all triggered like, oh, I'm from Myanmar, I'm from Indonesia, and I don't fall into this Asian category. So even among like Asians and everything, like I always feel like it's like always segmented and there's multiple layers inside too. And that skit itself just says like, Asian men have only been accepted due to the cultural relevance and soft power that has been introduced to the world recently. Hey Michael, thank you for the €5. David, do you happen to have any gay friends, acquaintances? What are their experiences like in Korea? Obviously not good. I wouldn't say it's the best. Obviously they've gotten a lot of like hardships. My best friend actually, he's gay. He's living in Vancouver right now. And the reason he went to Vancouver is because he wasn't accepted by society and his own family. His family was very Christian, and they thought it was something that could be fixed and they could pray for, and they prayed for him ever since he came out. And his mother would cry all day saying like, God's going to fix you. And I really felt bad for him. And because society doesn't allow gay marriage here, he had a long-term relationship, which I met the boyfriend as well too. He's a really nice young, and they would be openly outside holding hands, but like everyone would like whisper stuff when they pass by, like, oh, gay인가 봐, gay, like, oh, he's gay, they're gay, oh, it's a gay couple. So they will always like hear that kind of stuff, and I can't imagine like just trying to enjoy your date and people all eyes on you and whispering things like that. It's gonna be annoying and frustrating. So yeah, they decided to go to Vancouver and they got married. I saw their marriage pictures and it was cute, beautiful. Also I know openly gay friend who's Tabit. He's very public about it. He has his own YouTube channel as well too, and he's been on the gay dating show. I haven't actually talked that deeply with Tabit, so I can't say anything about his experiences in Korea. And I'm not close enough to like disclose like the stories I've heard about like his dating experiences. But yeah, I've heard some of the stories. You should marry a Naga girl. What's a Naga girl? I'll help you find one. Thank you for the 200, Alim. Thank you so much. Yeah, the whole globe is changing. Yeah. Son married a Chinese girl and our family called our first grandson the little white boy. What? Why say little? Why do you say little? I would understand if it's only the white boy, but what's the little white boy? What? Nope, I didn't date at all. I was too young to know anything about like the opposite sex back then. How tall is tall for me? Like, do you mean tall enough for me or actually tall? In men's standards, I would say over 185 is pretty tall. I would say my height is pretty tall too. Like, I'm 180. It's acceptable for women with high standards that like tall guys. The margin point is 180. For girls, I would say 170 is very tall. 170 is very tall. Over that is extremely tall, which I find attractive. The sweet spot for me personally, which is okay and tall, like, great and tall, is 165 to 170. I've mostly dated people in that range. I think that's my go-to height. Whereas I just don't really consider it, but maybe just my like intuitive just gears toward that. But like 165 to 170 is like my usual go-to height, I guess, out of big data empirically. But like over 170 is very tall, and I feel that it's very attractive too. Yeah. Tabit is an example of how South Korean gays live in Seoul. Yeah, you can check out his YouTube channel. Exactly, Andrea. Bottom line, people should be viewed as individual people, not by race or any other factor defined by character. Yes, I really wish the world would be such an ideal place. Yeah. But unfortunately, it's not that ideal. Have him on as a guest. Yeah, I want to have him on as a guest. How about a nice 5'1" American? I'm sorry, but I have no idea what a 5'1" is, so. Volleyball star Kim Young-kyung, she's huge. She's a giant. No offense, but she's huge. Like, do you know how Kim Young-kyung, how tall she is? She's probably like 190 something. Key. She's 192. Like, I'd be a midget next to her. Dang, she's tall. Look at her. This is the average Korean guy. She's like this tall. Yeah, she's one of our best volleyball players. She's a freaking volleyball player. What? Why is TikTok? Okay. But volleyball players are hot. I mean, I'd be down. If she wanted to, I mean, like, not her particularly, but if a volleyball player or basketball player wanted to date me and she's 190, it might be a little weird, but I'd be down. How many steps did I walk last life? I didn't check. Yeah. Don't cut us short ladies out of the equation. I'm not cutting out anyone. It's just like my tendency. It just happened to be like that. She's pretty. David, get those volleyball tickets stat. I'm 175 and it's hard to find someone in my area who doesn't go, oh, you're tall. Yeah, 175 for a woman is very tall. Yep. I have not been to the Netherlands yet, but I once had an opportunity to show around some Dutch people around Korea. Like, there were some media people. And there were a few women in the group. Like, I think 5, and almost all of them were taller than me. I was so surprised. And the guys were like enormous. Like, they were towering. Yeah, I'm usually one of the tallest people in a small group, but in that group I was like the shortest. That was crazy. And when I was in like Sweden too, everyone was pretty tall. I guess maybe that Viking blood. Bro's still yapping. Yeah, I'm yapping on the whole night. In my Dutch family friend group, the 6'1", 185 is considered short. Exactly. I'm 180. I'm a midget. Dutch dudes are some of the tallest, yeah. I'm really thankful that I'm like at least this tall, because it's kind of like among men, you know, height is kind of a thing. There's like frame and built, but there's also height too among just average men. And when I'm like traveling overseas, I see a lot of my friends, like Korean friends, that are either like in the 168 to 175, under that range. That's like the average age range for a Korean guy, and they'd be really intimidated by these tall foreigners in front of them. Like, these guys are like towering in front of them, and they're in line, and they always feel like the smallest and powerless. But like for me, I'm relatively okay, because like even if I stand in an elevator when I'm in like a hotel in the US, like I'm usually like, in the middle. Like some people are taller than me, some people are shorter than me, so it's okay. I don't get that intimidated. Danes are the tallest. Yeah, I think I felt that too. I didn't have that much time in Copenhagen, so yeah. I'm Swedish and I'm the shortest in my family, and I'm 167. My dad is over 2 meters. Wow. Yeah, even my host when I was in Sweden, he was tall. He was way taller than me. Yeah. Okay, guys. Let's see what time it is. Let's see what time it is. Still 332 people watching? Wow. I'm so blessed. Okay, we've been going on for 3 hours? What? Okay, that's crazy. I need to call it a day now. Yep. So guys, it was lovely to talk with you again on Sunday night. Unfortunately, yeah, I hope nothing too tragic happens within this week, but let's see if I'll be able to do the planned IRL streams, and I don't know, maybe go to Busan. I think that's very unlikely. But yeah, let me see how it goes. If I go Mia MIA, or yeah, I'm just quiet, just assume something bad happened. But yeah, Jellybean, happy birthday, Jellybean. Thank you, Francesca. And you're crazy. What day will that be? Okay, so for the scheduled IRL stream, it's gonna be a very difficult time. Oh shit, it's frozen again. Sorry. Yeah, for the planned IRL stream, it's gonna be a very difficult time for you guys. Honestly, it's gonna be probably a replay friendly time. Oh, my dog is definitely triggering this. Yeah, she just moved and she just like actually triggered it. Yeah, she's been okay. She's been down there. Yeah, now I have to disconnect and connect again. Okay, one last thing, and I'll end the stream now. There we go. Can't be mad at my doggo. She doesn't know anything. Okay, there we go. So yeah, the stream is supposed to happen on the 27th, starting from 7 p.m. KST. I don't know what that time is in your country, but it's probably a very unfriendly time. So yeah, if you can catch it, you can, but probably it's going to be replay friendly for you guys. The only reason I'm streaming in that time is because this specific place I'm going to is only accessible until like 6:30 p.m. and also this other place, an exhibition I'm taking you guys to, is also only open until 9 p.m. from 7 p.m. So yeah, people who can join. If not, enjoy the replay. Hopefully this time it goes more smooth. And last time it was so stressful because I didn't know at all. Because if you look at last live stream, let's see. If you look at the last live stream, there was this very annoying floating super chat thingy for the whole time that was showing. Nobody pointed it out to me. And I'm not blaming you guys, but like I didn't notice until the end. It was super stressful to see that happened. Like if you see the stream over here, these like $9 thingies, they couldn't be disabled. They didn't disappear even after so much time. And only at the end when I like moved them with my fingers, I knew that like it was an actual function that was floating. And after the stream, I realized that they were there in the entire time and it was blocking the view. So let me try to get rid of that this time. Yeah, I'll try to use a third-party chat function, an overlay, so that you know we don't see this shit. Yep. That's 12 p.m. Norway time, so very good. Okay, Central Europeans are happy. Yeah. My dog's name is Chomsun. It's because she has a spot on her left side of her body, so it means something like the girl with a spot. I don't know how you would translate that into English. Spotty? Or polka dot? Something like that. She has a very unique little mark on her left side of the body. Oh, it's the mic is covering. You see, like this. And the little cute dot over here too. I have to get her nails clipped tomorrow. She's very, very hostile towards nail clippers, so I can't do it myself. I just go to the vet and give them $4. Yeah. Oh yeah, she touched the cable again. Beauty mark. Yeah. So cute. So cute. Spot is a common dog name in English, really? She's an English dog. She's a Jack Russell. Sounds like a book title by Hanga. Spotty Verdago. Yeah, for some reason the vets and the nurses there are super pros at nail clipping. Like she usually shrieks and like struggles and gets super aggressive and like scratches me when I try to like clip her nails. So I just gave up because like my skin becomes like all red with the claws and all that. She doesn't bite, but she like scratches me because she wants to get out. But apparently when I go to the vet, I don't know how they do it. They do it behind the walls. I try to peek in. My guess is that they kind of like strap her to a table or something and just, you know, one person holds her down, one person takes care of the things. But usually it's very interesting because like she usually makes a lot of sounds like I don't want to do it, like some stuff like that. But at the vet, like she's super quiet. I don't know if they like kind of tranquilize her. I don't know, but like somehow they have this know-how to just calmly do it. How old is she? It costs you $20 at the vet to clip dog nails? What? That is insane. $20 for a nail clip? It only takes like a minute. What? For me, it's only $4. It's not even $4. It's 4,000won, so that would be like $3 max. She's saying, "Let's go, daddy." Maybe she got hurt. Yeah, probably it's some kind of traumatic incident. That's how dogs form those kind of responses. They're pros, so it's easier for them. Yeah. More outside stream, bro. I will. Hopefully more people tune in. I mean, the last stream wasn't that bad in terms of views. It got 6.1k. It's not bad, but not the best. My streams usually get like 10k views per average. I guess this isn't what they were expecting, or maybe the title was just too simple that they didn't tune in, or I don't know. Maybe they just like me yapping the entire time at my studio. Or maybe people just like news, or people just like K-pop or something like that. But here's me. Yeah, I really need to get my double chin. It really bothers me. That's my biggest complex. I hate my double chin. In any angle you can see it. And I'm not even that plump. Like, I'm not even that like chubby or anything, but like that lump of fat just really bothers me aesthetically. I just really want to get rid of it. I'm thinking of like a mini lipo on that part, or yeah, that it always goes ping pong, because I'm like, I don't want to put a knife on my body or my face, and the other side of me is like, yeah, I have the willpower. If I probably do a diet and cut, it's gonna disappear naturally, but I've never actually succeeded in doing that for the past 3 years, I think. Yeah, I think it's formed after, like, I don't know. I didn't have this in the old days. It's just age. It's just like drooping down. But if you look at my early DKDK videos, you can see how much I've gained weight actually. But that's just nature. Yeah, like just look at my early DKDK vids. Well, look at this. If you go to the old ones, the first video ever. Wow, this is so cringe. Wow, what the hell is that? Yeah, what the hell am I doing? Look at Danny. Oh my gosh. Look how sharp my jawline is. If you look at the old vlogs as well too. Oh no, these are the recent ones. But it became like a very a chubby bear. Look at this vlog I did at a convenience store. And yeah, so young, right? Look at these two guys. What are you even doing? I'm trying to find an angle from below where I can see that I can prove that I didn't have like a huge double chin. Like, see? I had like a little piece of fat there, but not to this extent. Like, see, I guess it was still there, like the skin, the what do you call it, this little bit of skin over there, but not this. It's just age and fat. So I guess I just need to like do a diet and cut. But yeah, how do I get rid of this shit? I'm thinking of getting Rego V, because it's become cheaper now. It was like $300 per prescription for like, I think 4 shots or something. But now the price has gone down to $150 for 4 shots, because there's been competition. That was legit 10 years ago, I know, but Asians don't age. Asian don't raisin, right? So I'm confident that if I go to the gym every single day and do the treadmill, I could go back to that. Yeah. You're a teddy bear. For the vet to get the doggy's nail clip. Thank you, Norbert, for the €5. That's more than a nail clip, but thank you so much. I'll use the extra money on like maybe buying her a little gummy snack, something. Yeah, maybe I should use gua sha. Face yoga. Yeah. Okay, guys, it's been 3 hours. My eyes are now closing. Is drooping. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. And I will go sleep and get ready for the new week. And I don't know how this week will be, but yeah, we'll see. Asians don't raisin so legit. I'm 30, but people still think I'm 26, 27. Same here. Only international folks though. Like Koreans they're spot on my age. They're like, oh, you look like 35, 34. I'm like, oh yeah. But like every foreigner I meet, they're like, no way, you're 34. Like you look 26 or 7, something like that. Maybe it's just the compliment culture. Good night, everyone. Thank you. Rest. Thank you. Thank you. Excited for the next live. Yeah, to give you a teaser, I'm going to be doing a live at a Royal Tomb Raider, and also at a media exhibition. I don't know if it's going to be interesting, but yeah, it's a thing I have to do for the Gyeonggi-do program, but also I think it's going to be informative for people that might be interested in Korean history, or yeah. And it's a place outside of Seoul, so some fresh air, right? Stay safe, lovely hoodies. Yep. Thank you, Toppings, for tuning in. And I'll see y'all soon, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Please pray. Yep. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.